All right, kids, you know what time it is? It's Tuesday night and it's 10 o'clock East Coast time now, 7 o'clock East Pacific. We're here for another breakdown of Skeleton Crew. And I'm not sure how everybody else feels, but I'm curious to find out. So let's bring in some friends. Okay, I can't get on the wrong side of the street. What's up, guys?
Yo, what's
What's
happening?
what's cracking?
I was just here to learn more about spaying and neutering my pets.
It's important. It's important task that you should learn about. It can
Hmm.
help control the pet population. That's what Bob Barker told me every week. See, we already got somebody saying Jod survives. Is this like
Mhm.
Is this like Jod lives? Is this like Thanos lives?
God,
that-
spoiler alert.
Is that how we're going? Jod lives. I mean,
John
maybe.
survived Order 66.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We're gonna get into this because this gave us some answers and left even some questions out in the air. Also,
I got a lot of questions.
I got a lot of questions, but I got a lot of answers out of this also. So I'm kind of 50-50 here. I'm half happy, half questionable, right? So let's start with that. I mean, I know Sheev is behind like 20 minutes on the ep, but we gave him a half hour, so maybe he'll make some tacos and join in since it's Taco Tuesday. We are also doing something different today. YouTube has given us this awesome ability to do rewards or I don't really know how to describe them. Goals. That's what they call them. So they're goals. So we put a goal up in a ridiculous manner. So check out the goal. It should be at the top somewhere in the chat. But I didn't know what to do because they're like, don't make it monetary. And I'm like, but I like giving things away. So I made it something ridiculous that would be fun for some people. So we'll get to that anyway. So episode good, bad, and different. What's the consensus?
Me first?
Sure, sure.
Jula lied to me. I feel deceived.
you
I
feel
feel
lied
let
to.
down. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, man. This show, like, really, really good show. But why? For what? That's where I'm at. It's just like, man, come on.
Money.
I need. Yeah, I guess.
Well, again, the ending of this episode leaves me with several questions, more so than all the answers I wanted. I mean, I got a couple answers that were great, but I also got a couple more questions as the episode ended. So I'm a little on the fence.
Like, where
as
is all
far-
that money going?
Well, yeah, I mean that's the ultimate question at the end of the day is when the episode ends. Spoiler alert, but when the episode ends, I guess my question
I
is,
saw it.
yeah, if you haven't seen it, I would get out of here. But my giant question comes is like if the New Republic shows up and takes all that monies, right?
Oh, I'm using the wrong mic here. Is that
Mhm.
Sure, that sounds good. Then how did the First Order come into power if you have 1,100 of those credit vaults?
$11 billion.
I mean, you've got 11 gazillion to billion dollars now. And my question is, how do you let a new threat arise with all those monies? Is my question.
corruption?
Well, I think that the one mom really was hitting on it. It's like they're not safe anymore. That planet is, in my opinion, not safe. Word will get out.
Correct. Well, word will get out, but ultimately, if the New Republic has sent, ships and all that stuff, they're taking everything. I don't know. It just seems kind of sus to me. But we'll get there. We'll go ahead and break this thing down. Yeah, so let me pull it up. But before we go any further, I want to do our sponsor obligation. Oh yeah, that's it. Here comes the sponsorship obligation. So, if you haven't already, get over to the Matt Cave. Get yourself one of these Matt Cave mugs. They're fantastic for putting any kind of liquid refreshment in. They taste fantastic. In this, everything is better. And from what I understand, your gaming aim is better when you drink from the Matt Cave mug. So you should get over there and get. Get
Makes
yourself one of these.
heads easier.
If you're in a game, that's definitely what you have to do is get some of that. See, I feel like my aim is better already. We should be gaming right now.
Chat, are you thirsty yet? Because they've just been drinking
Thirsty.
for like
Yeah,
5 minutes straight.
That's it. We're drinking.
I was getting it straight from the elephant's trunk.
Yeah, no, it's from the elephant's trunk. Yes. Hold on, I have to change this to dark mode so that I can actually not have light. There we go. Yeah, so a lot of questions, right? Where do we go from here? Does it have more? Do we have more, or is that where we're at and we're done?
We want to go there right now, or we want to break it down, or want to go?
We're gonna break it down. I'm just just putting it out there. Like, are we? Is this a one and done situation here? That's all I'm saying.
I think so. I think you incorporate them in other things, but the way the story ended, it's like I don't know. I don't know how you continue it. It's kind of like it's done, you know?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how I feel. All right, we're gonna skip this recap.
Yeah, it's like the good guys just come in and clean up the mess. Okay, cool. Show's over.
Yeah.
I think if you want to keep this going multiple seasons, you have more like them kind of lost in space trying to find their way back. Keep the mystery going. You know?
I totally agree. So, all right. So when we last left our lovable band of misfit toys, we found we see Jod with his lightsaber out and in a threatening manner. I should pull up these closed captions for the hearing impaired so that we can hear what's going on. So we get to this point where all the friends are on the platform, right? And Jod is explaining how he is, the kids were bad, okay? The kids were bad in space, and I observed them doing some real awful things, you see, and so me being the sheriff of Nottingham, I went ahead and scooped him up and brought him back to good old Ed Atten, right? And that's kind of what it seems like was going on. He put his lightsaber away. Jod tells him, they broke every security protocol, and Ad-Ad's safety should be the top priority. How could these parents be so irresponsible? I mean, these kids need structure and educations. And
I'm just realizing I got thoughts on this whole plot. I want to nitpick, but I don't want to say that to you.
Okay. So Jod scolds everybody. He tells the droids to confine these hooligans to their quarters, except for Fern and his mom, or her mom, because they're going to go see the supervisor. Now, I think this is the biggest reveal probably of the show. I think Scotty's been kind of preaching on this the whole time, so I think Scotty. Scotty's.
We all knew it.
Scotty's definitely getting points for that one. I definitely think that he's getting the most Scotty points for that one because he's been calling it all season. But we go, and the funny thing is in the elevator when mom, number one, Wim's dad is the quintessential widower, single dad, divorced dad, whatever, right? Like
the TV dinners. He's like, boy, I bet you missed these home cooked meals while you were out in space, right? And it's like goop and glop and cooked in their version of what is a microwave, right? I mean, it's just like that's a microwave. That's just the Ad-Adden microwave right there, right?
Out of the year.
You just took a Pyrex and turned it upside down.
That's it. It's a Pyrex. a Pyrex. Yeah, and the heat induction is on the bottom, right? So they're gonna start. I don't know if you guys know this, but Lucasfilm is starting to sell cookware. This is the first iteration of the
Don't give them any ideas.
of the.
Anything but movies.
This is actually for the kids. See, what they're gonna do with the kids is they're gonna give the kids this, and then this is the new Easy Bake Oven for Star Wars, is what this is. So I don't know if you guys knew that, but this is the new Easy Bake Oven for Star Wars. So
Dads don't cook in my Star Wars.
That's right, Dads. I mean, look at this. This is like, look, it's like a TV dinner. Nobody wants to eat it. Dad doesn't even want to eat this, right? The new KK emoji is the new KK. So there's new emojis while you guys are talking about them, Jedi Mike. There's new emojis. The newest emojis are Neil, and I think it's exhausted Neil, right? And so there's two different ones that we put out there this time. So members, go ahead and throw those up. They should be there. Kathleen's there. Matt Cave and Scotty are there, and I think there might be one more of mine. I think that's it so far. But Neil was requested, so we went ahead and made two of Neil. So of course, Wim is looking at his TV dinner, highly disappointed because, well, the rest of the families are probably cooking them home cooked meals. You know,
He was eating better on the ship, man.
I think they were eating better on the ship. So, Dad and Wim have this moment, and Wim's dad is talking about assessment. He's like, "Oh man, you're gonna go make sure you get your day in school and take your assessment." And Wim's like, "Dude, this doesn't matter. Like, there's a whole terrifying. There's people trying to kill us right now, right out there, and we're having some shitty TV dinners, right?"
There's a droid right in my nostril. Like,
seriously, like if I fart, he's gonna know what I ate. Like, come on, man. Like, let's get out of here. So Wim talks about it doesn't matter anymore. Dad's like, "Are you serious?" And then the droids are there, and he's trying to scold him. And this is the part I think I enjoyed the most. And I don't know if this is Disney, continuing in their woke-isms, so to speak. But is this a moment where this is a moment where the kid is telling the parent, like, you really don't have any idea what's out there, right? Like, you talk about this, that it's terrifying out there. And there's a lot more to the galaxy than the great work, right? And so it's interesting to watch this young idiot tell his dad how naive he is, because if Wim's the dummy in the group, right? I mean, come on. If you look around your group of friends and you can't spot the dummy, chances are you're the dummy, right? I mean, just saying, look around. So these two continue to have this argument. Fern and the mom go ahead and take their opportunity to go see the supervisor. Now, seems like the mom has been up here, right? It seems like she's like, make a good impression and stand up straight.
I got the opposite impression.
Really?
Yeah, just when you cut to them, like, right as they're about to walk in the room, the anticipation on her face, it's like she has no idea what she's walking into either. You know what I mean?
See, I disagree. Based on the scene we see when they get introduced to the supervisor.
Hey, watch close on the rewatch. It looks like she's all like, what are you?
Who are you? Where are my pants?
I feel like John just got older and older. Like Jude Law got older and older as this episode.
It's stress, man. I mean, look at the presidency. Being the captain of a bunch of pirate villains is very difficult and stressful on the brain. Okay, you get older sitting in the position of power. Look at the presidents of the United States. They age 150 years every time they sit in there for 4 years. It's amazing.
You're talking about Trump's got a full head of hair. It looks like magnificent.
I mean, I'm telling you, I want to find his barber. So we get to
And that natural tan.
I mean, it's a natural color too. I see it on the models all the time. Um, so Neil and Wim kind of have a conversation, and Neil's like, "I can't go. I'm gonna get in trouble for talking to you. There's a robot up my butt." And so we get to the supervisor. So you're talking about this scene right here, where she just feels you think that she looks
Yeah.
anxious because she clears her throat.
Oh yeah, they're like all of them are. Well, the girl doesn't care, but like
Thanks.
all of them are like.
Thanks,
"Ooh."
Obama. Yeah. So, okay. So Fern's mom, everybody, kind of looks nervous. We get in. Now, this is kind of the moment where it got interesting, right? Because there's all of these old, and this moment where Jod kind of walks by and scrapes off what looks like an ancient amount of dust.
That's what makes me think he doesn't have much company either. You know, I doubt.
I don't think he gets much company because I think everything just runs as it's supposed to because the supervisor, keeps everything in order with the droids. But we get to this moment, Jod's kind of confused for a second. Like he was asking, why is it so dusty? Where is everybody? The supervisor rarely grants an audience to anybody. And so, here's where we get the reveal. And it's a droid. So
this pissed me off like no other.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Santa changed his format. So like he made every question multiple choice. And for this one, it was like one of the options was he's a droid. And I said none because I just didn't see him being a droid at all. I thought he was going to be more like a computer program, right? Like the dude in Captain America 2. He's basically like a screen. I figured he was just going to be like, he would be like Skynet. That's what I was thinking it would be. And then he had to come out and say he's a droid too. And I'm like, damn it.
Yeah.
Right. So immediately the eye of the droid, it's a humongous droid. It reminded me of Tron, the first Tron. The Master Control looked very similar. I got a lot of Tron vibes out of this show as a whole. So he sees, the undersecretary, and then he says, she's one of the most dedicated citizens.
That look right there too. She's looking at something she's only seen the first time,
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, they hear that announcement. This is the supervisor, and it sounds like an actual human. So she's completely blown away here.
Yep.
Okay. I kind of feel like
she's like smiling because it's like her amazement at finally being able to like meet the supervisor, and this is what it is.
I don't know, man. I kind of got the other vibe, like she kind of already knew. The droid is like, telling her she's happy she's been safely returned, and to me it just feels like,
well, so isn't it because she's also like the one directly underneath?
Correct.
So this droid's actually probably been watching her raise her daughter, and that's like, it's weird. This droid kind of reminded me of the droid on the ship for the Han Solo
L-33
movie. Yeah, it's got like a consciousness, like an empathy, a personality. Yeah, unlike the ones that are running the city, this one just seemed very different, more alive, I guess.
Yeah,
smarter.
Yeah,
more empathetic, more evolved,
less programmed.
Kind of like I feel like this droid, if R2 had a voice, this is kind of the tone that would be taken sometimes, right? Like, not every droid has that spark of personality in them, right? Yeah, I think she knew the supervisor was a droid. I don't think she's ever been up here, right? Like maybe her predecessor told her whatever. I just am not sure if that's the case, right?
I mean, I feel like you can't keep a secret like that. And that like small like somebody, if it was a person, somebody would want to know what person. So maybe they do all know that, and it's just something they're not going to tell us about. But that was my thought through this whole thing. It's like, you know, damn well if this is somebody that like grew up among them, they'd know who it is. You know?
Well,
They
yeah,
would-
they'd know the successor. They'd know who the family was or whatever, or how they got, you know.
Mhm.
But it's just
I don't know.
it seemed like everybody's kind of oblivious, right?
Yeah, man. I really don't think they did because I mean we've talked about the brainwash in every episode and how none of them have any clue what's happening. I don't think that any of them had any idea this was a droid.
No, I don't think
I
so.
don't know.
I think she did, just based like, so there's this moment right here where he's like, "Oh, you're ruled by a droid." Like, what the shit?
Mm-hmm.
And they're, and she's openly says, as decreed by the great work. Like, this is something that she's known
Okay.
about for her entire, probably her entire adult life, right? If she's been undersecretary for any length of time, if she's been the highest human authority, then I think she absolutely knew this whole time that this was, she may not have been up there for a long time, but I think she absolutely knew.
I'm gonna need to
Maybe.
see that decree in fine detail. I'm gonna need all the fine print on that decree.
I
Of the
still
great
think
work.
it's they purposely leave it a little vague just so we'll talk about it. But I
Sure,
don't know.
sure. And then this is where things get really good, and this is where we kind of get some answers and then some questions, right? And this is a point in the episode where I'm kind of like, oh, great, there's an answer to something, but then at the end of the episode, I was like, but that didn't really give me the answer to the question I wanted.
Mhm.
That answered a question, absolutely, but it didn't answer the question I wanted it to answer, which is, so that,
Where's
where's
Neil's
Waldo?
dad?
Where's Waldo?
Where's
Yeah, Waldo,
Martha?
Neil's dad.
Yeah, right. Like, why isn't the great elephant here? So he sees a new face. Jod, greeting supervisor. He's an emissary of the Republic and a Jedi, and then he holds his lightsaber up, using the Force, which I thought was really clever. Right?
He does
Like,
put that metal shit to bed though. This episode though,
what do you mean?
he does some force pushing.
Mhm.
So like the whole like I don't
Oh,
have the force. Yeah, he's like, nah, I heard you guys.
Yeah, and he's pulling the lightsaber. Like, yeah, absolute. I never had a doubt that he was 100%. And then they give us some explanation, which is even better, right? I love it when they actually give us explanations to the questions, right? So Fern tries to out him. And then I love how the supervisor, like you said, not only has a bit of a personality, but just divulges information, right? Like, I needed somebody to give me the answers to some of these questions that I have, right? So, the droid says he admits he began to think that an emissary would never come and visit our humble mint. Now, that kind of struck me too. It's like, you have 11,000 of these giant vaults, and your mine is humble? Is there bigger ones out there? Like, damn, bro. So yeah, and this, like I said, this kind of gave me that Master Control from Tron vibe, right? This definitely gave me a different, something different. So Jod tries to lie his way through this, which I thought was great. He's just slinging some BS and trying to, BS his way through it. And the droid is kind of asking questions, and everybody's trying to figure out what's what.
Man, I will say that I don't know if they are doing this, but one of the biggest questions from the sequels for a lot of people was whose ship did they use to escape on Canto Bight? And why was he selling X-Wings and TIE fighters to both sides? Do you guys remember that? I believe it
Yeah.
was The Last Jedi.
Hello
on
there.
That, like,
Hello there.
they're on that pleasure yacht or whatever. And the homie had buyers and he was selling ships
Yeah,
to both the Republic and First Order. So the money for me right now is the biggest thing, because now the Jedi, or not the Jedi, but I guess the New Republic are like, wait a minute, you're minting what? There's how much gold here?
Well,
I don't
yeah,
know.
I mean, I think that's well, okay, so this is kind of where what I was saying before is, like, at this point, where's the money going? Right? How did the New Republic lose a war with the First Order if you had all this money?
Exactly.
Right. And that's the question that I'm getting at in this leading into the future, right? Because if we are at, and we had this discussion at nauseum last time, if we are at a point in time where we're after Mando and we're after Ahsoka and we're in this time between them and the sequels, right? With not too much time between them anymore. Where does all this money go for the New Republic is the question. And how do you lose a war with the First Order and become a resistance when you have this much money to fund your government?
That's why it would have made more sense to have Thrawn's ship just creep up and no X-wings and let them fight off
Either that or the
themselves.
Shadow Republic, right? The Shadow Organization, right? Like, if the Shadow Collective showed up, that would have been a different story, right? Or if we see, well, and another answer that we get in this because of this sentence right here that's coming up is, we know this isn't that wasn't Plagueis in the mud baths, right? So that another question squashed. Was that Plagueis? At what timeline are we in?
No.
Who thought that was Plagueis?
Oh, there was a lot of conversation out there about this. About this
Really?
Plagueis conversation. Yeah,
I think there were memes of like, oh look,
I saw some videos. I saw some
Seen
videos.
some shit, man.
I saw some shit. Out there. So yeah. So the supervisor says something, bobbity ba, talking about, you will respect my authority. This authority is kept in smoothly for generations. So this has been, potentially hundreds of years, right? So not only was it however many years before the Republic, the New Republic, the Empire, and some of the Galactic Republic that we know, that's generations, right? So that's Luke, Anakin, Palpatine, Plagueis, on potentially, right? So we know it's generations. That's more than 2. So it's definitely before Anakin Skywalker. Your other ship may land if you clear up one detail, and this is where things get a little spicy, but this is where we get the biggest answers to this question, right? And this is what kind of clears everything up here, is that the last communication, the droid says the last message. I'm even gonna play it just so that we can hear it. Right?
You see, the last message from the Republic stated that all Jedi were traitors.
Right? That right there tells us, okay, so this is after the Empire, right?
well, not necessarily,
That
because
his
the
last-
droid's communication was the last communication with the Republic that it knew was, of course, what we all know it would have been.
Right. So that's, Order 66, all Jedis are traitors. That was the last communication from the Republic. At that point, did the droid decide communications were now shut off? And if the Republic was gone, whoever gets here will suss it out. We'll figure it out. We'll just kill anybody that shows up. Like, if the Republic is dead, how do you prove you're the good guys? so to speak, right? So I guess that's kind of the question that lays with me is, how are they going to know? It's like, because they got passcodes from,
So why is it that the message is about the Jedi specifically?
well,
It's the
just-
last message the Republic put out
right
until
that's
they
the-
became the Empire.
Yeah,
Right.
Okay.
execute Order 66.
Execute
the
Order
Jedis
66,
have
all the
betrayed.
Jedi.
And this is
So that
this
message,
is still a droid with protocol. So when they heard the Empire start putting out messages, they're like, "You're not the Republic." So
last message from the
we
Republic. So
report to
the
the
That's what I
Republic.
would think too.
so the
Yeah.
Republic was corrupted by Palpatine as well, and they put out a message.
well, I mean,
And
we
that's
don't
what's
know-
kind of that's what the clones were saying, was that the Jedis were traitors,
right. I mean, we hear it in Rebels.
and that was
you
the
know,
Republic at the time, right?
He puts that message out before he declares it's an
So-
empire. Once he declares
Yeah.
it's an empire, they're no longer reporting to them.
because the Republic had lasted for a millennia, right?
So they've been
Yeah.
using this money the whole time, is what I'm saying.
No, I don't think so.
No, I
Why
think
would
this
the message
money's
come
been
through
hidden.
then?
Well,
Because
maybe
it still comes through
No,
to
no.
the robot, but the robot's primary function is to keep that place hidden and safe.
I
Yeah.
think you're right, Scotty. I think potentially that the Republic was using that money because they were
Right, 'cause
continuing.
why
Palpatine,
else?
Maybe.
No. I think
No.
the entire, like, that's where they were getting their money to fund the Republic, right? Was from the mints like at Atten, right?
I don't
And
think
then
they, because if they were, Palpatine would have known about it.
not necessarily, right? Not necessarily. Not
I
if,
mean, he
I find
was in
that
charge while
hard
they
to
were. He was the
believe.
last chancellor.
That's why I think it was the Jedi that kept it hidden, and that's why.
No, I don't think it was either. I think it was put in place long before this and kind of
Yeah.
maybe even lost and forgotten kind of thing. And that the system, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, the system has just been running and operating this thing without really anybody knowing it was even there. Which
Thousands
obviously
and thousands
no-
of bolts.
no emissaries have been there, and for how long? Like that's what they're.
Well, that's what
It
this
doesn't-
message I think is meaning to say, is that Order 66 is what it's implying.
No, but
yes.
that's the thing though, is you would if
So I think
Is
it's been
that
in
what the
operation
case,
up
bro?
into that point of Order 66. That's why the
They're
message
just saying
is
that's
sent.
when the last message from the Republic they got.
yeah,
Because
Is
that
that
was
all-
the end of the Republic.
I
And
don't
that's-
think the Republic used it though,
Yeah.
because otherwise they wouldn't be so shocked when they see a plane come down. Because the Republic was only there like 20 years ago. There's got to be some older people that are like, "This isn't that weird. This used to happen all the time." You know
No,
what I
that-
mean?
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
even says we haven't seen an emissary for a really long time. Like
Yeah.
it's been, I think he says like something. I was wondering if we were ever going to see an emissary again, kind of thing. So I mean, it's been a very, very long time since anybody has stopped here. But the last message from the Republic, again, that's a Republic that lasted a millennium.
Yeah.
Right.
So then you would think that this thing's been running that whole time, and the Republic might not even have known about it.
See, so the only here here's something that would be an interesting take, which is what would have been a fun post-credit scene, maybe, right? Is a like the last emissary leaving, so to speak. I don't know, something about, something along the lines of the ship getting captured, and then that being the line when, you know what I mean? Like, see
Yeah.
Captain Renard take the ship, kill the crew, and then that's the circle, right? Because then it's like, oh, okay, maybe that was the last emissary. Maybe it was a tight circle, right? And so it would have been better to have some kind of finish. But the fact that it was cut off for this long already, right? It's been cut off for 30 plus years.
A message from the Republic stated that all Jedi were traitors.
Right. So the only reason he really says that, it doesn't really matter. The reason he says that is to catch him in a lie. Right. So it's like, are you an emissary or are you a Jedi? What are we lying about here? Right. And so I think that's kind of why they throw it in. They throw it in to give us a bone as to where we are timeline wise. Like, okay, last message from the Republic. Well, we know that was let's say 35 years ago, right? And just throwing
Yeah, dude. And what I'm saying is too is like it separates this droid's knowledge from the knowledge of the people that even live there. Like this droid knew about things that the people.
Yeah, they weren't supposed to know.
He
Right.
may
They
not
must have had
have-
some
They didn't know about
frequency that they
Han
were
and-
still collecting
Right.
messages from the Republic. That
But he
could
didn't
make it
say
through the
anything
period.
about the Empire. So it seems like whatever Republic frequency communications were being used had ceased. And then the Empire started using new codes,
Straight up.
potentially. And this droid, because it seems like he didn't know about the war, right? He's not teaching them about Alderaan. Well, Alderaan is still
Alderaan.
there, right? In their
But
knowledge.
he
According
didn't
to
teach
them.
him. He didn't teach him about the Jedi being traitors either, though.
No, he didn't. But he didn't teach them about the Empire either. So they weren't getting any new information. He didn't know. All he knew, last thing, traitors. He didn't know Luke Skywalker was a good guy. He didn't know X-Wings coming in would be good guys. He doesn't know what's beyond the barrier because he's not getting any more information on that coded frequency, right? Because it had to have been a coded frequency. Otherwise, people would have pirated it. And everybody would have known where AT-ATN was. So it had to be either a closed loop, which is more likely, which is like, here's the coordinates to AT-ATN, go get some credits. Or it was a frequency that got shut down. But either way, we know that this droid knew about the Jedi uprising.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything about Palpatine, the Empire, Luke Skywalker. He just said, this is the last message I got from the Republic. I know nothing else. That's why the kids were still talking about Alderaan like it still existed. Because he wasn't teaching them. He didn't know about the destruction of Alderaan because that happened 19 years after the Empire.
Yeah,
Right?
that probably wasn't getting fed to him.
He wasn't getting information. So either it was a closed loop and the emissary was bringing like data pads and information and trading that out for, the off, because what did he call it? The upload. He didn't call it an upload. He called it an offload. So what was he going to offload from the Onyx Cinder? Because that's what they kept calling it. They didn't call it an upload. They didn't call it, anything. They said, they called it something specific.
I thought that just meant offload the vaults. Like
I thought they meant offload the.
Stupid phone.
it was weird terminology. I don't know what the hell.
Right. That's
why
what
I
I'm saying.
said
There was
that
a lot of conversation. So
which are you lying about?
and then so the droid, obviously we find
Got
out.
him.
Gotcha. And then it's sees the imposter. The lights.
See, I still say he was
Yo,
programmed.
can we
to
just go
basically
back to that droid shotgun?
take
Can we hold up
reports
right
from the
there?
Republic, and once it
Can we
wasn't the
just look at
Republic
this
anymore,
gun?
he didn't care.
Yes.
Can you just look at this shotgun real quick?
I got one of those.
That
Looks
thing
like a
was
sword.
awesome. It looks like it was built from a piece of his body. It's just all the same material.
Looks like a Lego.
It does look like a Lego. So he's like, get him, sees him. We see that's a cool shot of Jod reflecting blaster bolts. But then he pulls a Qui-Gon, goes ahead and starts melting our good friend the droid.
Money shot.
Bring your mummy up to speed.
She
Then
knows
we
what I'm talking about.
Then we see all the
That
darkness.
night shot was cool.
This one
Have we seen? We haven't really seen. Yeah, right there, dude. That's crazy.
At and stat.
just like big rings like Atlantis. So it's funny because I was looking at this shot earlier in a different episode, and this kind of looks like the Onyx Cinder, right? Like this mobile his mom made him kind of oddly looks like it, right? I just thought that was looking at it, I was
It's
like,
because it looks like an emissary ship.
right, exactly, right? So it's like, I don't know. So they talk about bringing the other ship through the barrier. Then we find out that there's a master shutoff switch, and don't hit the master shutoff switch or it'll destroy the barrier. So
I was confused on that too. So it sounds like they just momentarily shut it down so their ship can come through.
There's a on-off switch and a one that destroys it.
Yeah.
Right there. So yes, he can code ships to let them pass through. Right. So
Hmm.
he just took the
Why is there a kill switch?
I mean, why did the Death Star have a freaking
Yeah,
exhaust port?
exactly.
Why did the Death
Duh.
Star why did the Death
Generso.
Star 2 have a way to do the same thing, but instead you fly through it this time? Why
Mhm.
did Star Killer Base have all of their power conduits leading to one place that you could take out, the whole planet? What? Come on, because there has to be a way for the little guy to make big gains here. Come on. You know the answer to these questions. Don't make me kneel you, because I'll do it. You made me do it. Mm,
Do it.
that's it. That was a kneel timeout.
I thought you were gonna go to the scene where he's in the bathtub again. They just like
I have
John
that one if you want it.
Petawatts.
Which
I have
one?
it. I have
Which
it if you
one?
want
They
it.
did it again.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like why they keep showing us this kid in the bath.
So we get the master cutoff switch. Blah blah blah. Take your fill of credits and go. He's a fat liar. We know he's a liar. I'll cut your mom. I won't hesitate. I'll cut a bitch. That's what this moments are. I'll cut a bitch. Don't tempt me. Which bitch am I gonna cut? That's what I'm seeing here. I mean, this is Jude Law's.
Cut you
know
so
why
bad,
Jude-
you wish I never cut you so bad.
I cut her. I cut her. Don't tempt me. I'll cut her. Right. So then he, lets the ships in. The pirates are happy. There's our buddy Vane. He's such a handsome fellow. And then they come through the barrier. And then I
Guy
love
playing
this.
his like, come on, man. All
I
this
love-
for a check.
Don't worry, just power outage.
It's just a power outage.
I love how naive.
I was gonna say the parents are like. It's so funny that it's like the old cartoons back in the day. The parents are dumber than the kids.
The parents are completely oblivious, and and Wim's dad is like really dumb, right? So Wim comes in, I love how he like. What's that scene? What was that scene from? From Mandalorian when him and when they're on that the Jack Black planet, and he kicks over the droid. That's what this reminds me of. He's just like wham.
Boom.
Stands
Truck,
like,
son.
damn it, Bobby! What the hell? I said, what the hell are you doing there? Right? And then he's like, man, look, everybody's off. The pirates are coming. Like dogs are barking. The dogs are putting up more of a fight than the people are. Then I like how they, give us Neil back in the bathtub. Makes me happy. Neil's just taking a butt. Neil's just like, we're in trouble. We've been in space for so long. I need a bubble bath. I don't know about you guys.
You ever see a soap suds run down the crack of a Neil's ass? It's
You ever seen an elephant in a bathtub? Well, you have now.
I was just fooling y'all.
I just love because Neil's like, there's a little bit of Neil in all of us, man. Because you tell me if you weren't lost in space for that long, the first thing you wouldn't do is go take a bath. Come on, you do it.
Neil's a mama's boy, man. That wasn't his idea. They
So
said,
the
get in
alien-
there.
Yeah, the aliens land. They don't. I like how they don't even give anybody any warning. They're just like open fire. Dad's sitting there trying to get the electric car working on the electric city grid. That the electric city grid is out. He's like, hold on, I can fix it.
See, I'm just gonna say it now. Like this is the mark of a terrible pirate. Like, if you're smart, you land on this planet, you all of a sudden get taken to underground and just told by droids that there's like, how many volts did they say they were? Like 100,000 volts? And you saw just one of them?
1139.
Like, in my mind, I don't want to see a supervisor. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't care how big my ship is. I'm going to fill it,
Yeah.
leave, and then I'm going to come back whenever I want. And I'm just going to keep coming back, taking with gold.
Well,
I'll do
and-
this slow, methodical.
I totally agree, especially if I'm the only one that has access to this place and my ship is the only ship that has access and they don't question me. Fill your ship up, Take it to your pirate buddies. Tell your pirate buddies, this is all for you guys. Take
Exactly.
all of this, but know that I am the only one that can get this for you. Right?
Mhm.
I know the key
That's
codes.
a way better plan.
I know the way in and out, the secret route you have to take. And without me, nobody gets any more. Right?
He's like, first thing he says, I want to talk to Super Blast.
Yeah.
He's like, why do you want to mess up? They're making more of it too. Leave them alone.
Yeah.
Let me just come in here and take this
How
whenever
about
I
you
want.
empty the first one and then worry about the other 1,100? Right? Like,
Not to mention, like, one load of this, like, you're rich as hell.
you're the
Bro,
richest
half
person
of that
in the
room would
galaxy.
set up 7 people at least.
Dude, that whole
And
room-
forget
Far
my
more
crew.
than that.
Like I said, like last episode,
7 people and their great grandchildren.
bro, it could be the 4 of us, and you just like drop me off, and I go down there in that ship. I'm just staying down there till you guys give up and think I'm dead, and then I'm popping back up. Like, I'm sorry, this is my goal. We're good.
I'm
Just
not
go
even
out the
doing
other
that.
side.
I'm going in, but not even talking to the supervisor. I'm going in and I'm going to tell them, hey, that ship that's up there knows what's up here. Let him come in. Let me communicate. Let him come in, and then it'll just destroy him, and then we're done. Right? Like,
Yeah, because you think about it, like the only like good secret is between like one person, and or the only secret between 2 people is if the other person's dead.
That's
like,
it.
you know, like there's
and
there's
everybody's
no way. Yeah, you guys are gonna find out that sooner or later that the reason I'm able to get down there is because I have the ship, and you're gonna come for my head to get the ship. So it's like, nah, screw it. I'm making you
Well,
think I'm dead, and I'm taking you guys out.
Yeah, and that's when you get another SM-33, and you're like, here's all my credits. I need 2 kick-ass protocol or 2 kick-ass destroyer droids to run my security and make sure no one gets within 50 feet of me.
Walking
And
around like 4 droids around me at all
That's it,
times.
man.
Assassin droids. Like, let's go. That's my pirate crew.
You got a lightsaber. You know how to use the Force. You should be unbeatable, right? But
That's what that took me out of it. Like, right? It's like, what
but
are
here's
you
the thing:
doing?
he's not a good pirate, right?
Or
Because
Jedi.
he keeps saying the same thing. He keeps saying, "I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to hurt anybody." Well, guess what? Pirates want to hurt people. I don't know. If
And
you've
then,
ever-
like, you think about it, it's like, dude, do you see any of these people actually mining this gold or doing it? No, it was all the droids doing it.
Mhm.
So
They're just-
what work are you going to put them to? They're just keeping everything working. Like, what are you doing?
they're just doing numbers.
And
That's
your
all they-
first act was shutting down all the droids. Like, what are we doing? Like,
Instantly destroyed their production.
You stopped the money printer.
dude, that's my nitpick for this freaking episode. It's like, what the hell are you doing,
It
man?
shouldn't
Like,
be a nitpick. It's just how dumb Jod is.
Well, and see, that's also what I think is he's just not a good pirate. He's so selfish and he's so greedy that he can't keep focused on the task at hand. He's gotta be on top, right? He's got to show the other pirates he was right. Instead of just showing up with a fucking ship to the gills full of gold.
mhm.
No.
You think that's the Metachlorians just fucking with him? It's just the Force. The
Just-
Force doesn't allow him to be the bad guy.
Right. It just, yeah. I mean, the
That,
one thing
that whole ship would have been covered in gold. Like, it would have been a golden emissary ship going forward.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, yes, the pirate, he's just a bad pirate. He's just a shitty pirate. He's a shitty person, and he just can't win because his greed gets the best of him. Instead of just doing the smart thing, he had to be the captain. He had to be the top dog. He had to show them he was right. Right. That's what beats him. He's like, they got to come down here and see. It's like, well, you just turned off the power, so you locked all the vaults.
Yeah. Not to mention your ship is locked too, dummy.
And
Like,
the ship is stuck, but Neil finds a way to activate the gun turrets, right? So there's just crazy. It's just crazy. It was madness, absolute madness. Okay, so the droids are gone. I like the speeder chase. I like that the dad gets in on the chase. I think that's fun. Yep, pirates taking over, yada, yada, yada. Okay, we're just going to Wonder Wheel of Death. Okay, there we go. Neil on the scooter is fantastic, by the way. Like,
Whoa.
he's just great. Dad's, they do the jump. Yay, okay. And then this is great. I was kind of screaming when they were going through the school. There's your Neil moment right there. His ears are flapping just for you, bud. The moment they're driving through this school, I was never coded as a good pirate, right? Is I was kind of hoping that Neil was going to stop on his own and be like, hold on, there's a big ass gun upstairs, right? But instead he gets,
Oh,
I laughed out
jeez.
loud when that shit happened. I was like, what?
I was like, oh, well, see, and I was like, oh man, how perfect is this?
Well,
They're in
pigs
the
might
school.
not be flying, but elephants are.
Hey, technically that's a non-lethal shot too, right? Boom.
Correct. That would constitute a non-lethal
I'm
shot.
just getting my ammo ready for Santa stream tomorrow.
Well, that's why these are so good for you, because we can look back and you can really
yeah.
you can dial it in, so to speak. I just want to get back to the part where they threw Neil. That's what I was looking for. Here we go. I'm trying to get a good one. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
there it
boom.
Whoop. Oh, there it is.
I farted and my speeder blew up.
Oh, right.
I was
so,
laughing my ass off. That shit happened. I was like, what?
yeah, I kind of knew what was coming. Go on without me. I mean, look at how full the ship is. Why wouldn't you just leave? Why wouldn't you just leave? Yeah, Speeder, Robbie Rod. I'm surprised we won't get any complaints about that. You know,
Oh, the kids were riding scooter. Do we have another scooter gang? Is this where the scooter gang started?
I mean, the ship is filled to the gills. I don't know why you just don't take off like you said. So they find out the clamps are clamped and they're not unclamping. Try to take off a few times. I don't know if you've ever, been docked before, but it's hard to get out. He tells him to stop screaming. I thought the little elephants were fantastic. Yeah, we're not allowed to say
Great
that
acting.
name. We're not allowed to say that name anymore. He used to be Robbie Rod, and that used to
He
be like
lost
a
that.
hot rod, Robbie Rod. But we're not allowed to call him that anymore. So now his name is Mr. Robert Rodriguez because he's such
Roddy Rob.
because he's such a piss poor Star Wars writer and director.
I thought it was Bobby Bod.
He doesn't even deserve it.
Put a Rancor to sleep.
Put a Rancor to
Straight up.
sleep, man. And then here we are. We find out that the Grand Poobah is just literally a useless character.
He's
So
just a good dad.
he's just a good dad that has a lot of babies. So
Is that the dad or the grandpa though?
that I mean,
He's old as
Fair.
dirt.
I don't know.
Oh, he's got tusks.
yeah, he has
Yeah.
tusks.
I just noticed that too.
Go you.
I noticed that in the hologram. So Wim
This
has
guy.
this guy comes out. He's such a bad liar, right? Like every time he lies, it's like the worst possible lie, right? He's like, "Oh man, we called the cops, man. The cops are coming right now. You don't even know you're in so much trouble. I called the police."
You know what it felt like though? It felt a lot like Fern doing the same thing to him about like my grandpa said that this land was
Right.
like, again.
Yeah, he's like,
Isn't that a callback? That gem thing you're talking about?
I found the crystal of the founders.
I thought they
No.
talked about that the first episode or something.
I didn't hear anything about that. I
I
just
don't think
rewatched the
so.
first. I got all these Neil pictures just for you. Like I have a whole slew of them just for you.
Dude.
And so, I mean, it's it's just like this one. This is the reason that we do this is because,
Because Green Bear.
yeah. So, what up, Anakin? But yeah, so he finds the crystal of the founders, and then he discovered it in an ancient blah blah blah. The dad comes over and does some switcheroo to give them power for the clamps. Then the clamps go off, and we see our friend fly far away, right? And I like the mom's response here. Like, how are you flying that ship? And it's like, man, you have no idea what we have been through the last couple weeks, lady.
You have no idea the shit I've been through. I almost died. We had to make a plutonium rod out of scrap parts. I had to plug into a hyperdrive.
He put a Rancor to sleep.
He put a Rancor to sleep, man.
Straight up.
So yeah,
Jordan the Force doesn't have to put up with this from his mom.
right, right. And then we see she gave our friend a little rebuild, just a quick like, oh, I don't have to reattach your head. I'm just gonna plug some wires back in. Okay, cool. And this is where my
Steal
guy
your rat.
this is where my guy comes in to be the hero, because I was calling for it the whole time the pirates showed up. I'm like, is my little man gonna be the hero? Is he gonna be the hero of the day? Is this little elephant fucker gonna be the hero that I think he is? And
This
boy
little
was he.
uncircumcised snout.
And boy was he. Comes through and kaplows the gunner ship, right? And so yeah, my guy Neil, I was hoping for it.
Neil
I was
was
talking
him.
about it the whole time.
It's another non-lethal blast.
There you go, non-lethal blast, right? And then he got him covered. And I like how he's like, "Hey KB, I got you covered." And then in the next 5 seconds, they're like, "Oh." He's like, "Uh-oh, I got to run my little legs off." And then you see him run.
I mean, if that part doesn't happen, you could do like a little Thug Life
Uh-oh.
video. When he takes that shot, you go back the way he's staring.
Right. So yeah, just put the glasses on him, have him flying in. I finally learned how to do that. So she goes out. This kind of gave me that Iron Man feel, like when he goes up in Iron Man 1, where he's flying through the clouds and he kind of stalls and then he kind of drifts back to Earth. This kind of gave me that same little vibe, where it was like, I'm up. Oh shit, I'm not up anymore. Right? It kind of gave me that. But you know, then she starts getting shot at, and it's a whole different thing. Then we call our owl friend, right? And it's like, hey, owl lady. What was her name? Kim? KYMMMMM.
They gotta stop spoiling stuff in the recaps, though, man. As soon as they did that, like, oh, that's what they're gonna do. Like, it's like
Yeah,
I know the
that's
whole
why-
episode now.
That's why we don't usually watch the recaps.
I skip all that. Yeah.
I skip all that because yes, they do give a flashback to what's going on. So it kind of does, you know.
Remember?
Yeah. It's like, oh, you remember. right?
Remember me.
But
Remember Kim?
yeah, remember that's how we got the X-Wings last time, is we had a friend call. There we go. Thank you. Anything? Nope, nothing for me. Okay, moving on. Yeah, so you know those pirate busters? Yeah, we're gonna use those guys. Those X-Wings are great. They gotta find some way through the barrier, right? So this is kind of leading to the destruction of the barrier, blah blah blah. So she gets knocked on her bum. Ship starts getting attacked. These lovable band of dummies watch the Onyx Cinder fly, and Jod's like, "Oh, hey, go look and watch your friend die. It's okay. I'm gonna let you watch, right?" And so they go through. You hear some somber music.
Can I just say, it did not look like that bad of a landing. They were so over dramatic. I'm like, I don't know about that. Some dust flew in the air. That's probably a good
Yeah.
sign.
Right? It's a
Yeah.
Star Wars. You don't see a big boom. It's not a
I mean,
crash.
they're kids, so fair, but
Yeah, but I
Dumb
mean,
bastards.
yeah. So you don't expect it to crash, you know, all that fun stuff, and then the battle for the handle begins, right? And everybody, you know, they show us what's coming. They're like, ooh, everybody's gonna try to pull the handle, right? And so we get the usual. See, it's funny because her and Wim kind of have this role reversal right here, right? Where usually in the whole series, it's been Wim. Wim's like, attack, run at him when you're useless.
my name
right?
is Wim. I'm gonna do everything on a whim.
I have a lightsaber that's upside down, right? Like there's all these things that he does, and then this, you know, then she does it, and then it's her turn to just run recklessly. I like how the mom should play defensive end for the NFL, bro. she is running some serious defense on this, right? The entire time we watch her trying to get at it, she's like, she just keeps going and going. And the mom's like, nope, nope, nope.
She kept pissing me off.
It was great, right? She's like, no, I'm not going to let you do it. Right. And then she keeps tackling her. Then the lightsaber comes out. Then Wims goes to pull his handle. Now, they write him as an amazing wussy. Right? Like, I get it. Yeah, you don't want him to kill your dad.
Forget him. The dad is the wuss.
Well, I mean, he raised what
Takes
you
one to
know.
raise one.
Yeah, you raise what you know, kind of, right?
I mean, you're sitting in that spot though, and it's like, hey, I can die, or we can save the whole planet.
Yeah.
Pull the damn lever. Pull the
I
lever.
agree,
Just
like,
do it.
I'm
Do
sitting
it.
there
Yeah.
screaming, cut this fucking head off.
Exactly.
Right?
Like the dad in beginning of like the new Red Dawn. He's like, kill all these fuckers.
Yeah. It's like, oh, Rick, cut this fucking head off. Right? Like,
He's sitting
I'm
there,
sitting
they got like a gun to his head. He's like, avenge me.
Yeah, I'm like,
It's
do
like,
it,
that's
right?
what I'm doing. Like,
there.
it's like,
And
"Ooh,
so
got me. Like, do what you gotta do.
So in this scene, we do get a little bit of Jod. Now, I think this is what people were probably expecting in episode 6 or 7 potentially, but I think Jude Law mentioned in his, and this is why everybody feels really lied to, that in episode 6 was his favorite episode because you got to know more about his character. I think we get to know the most about his character here, right? And just in this small monologue that he does here, he mentions how he grew up. So we have been discussing this for weeks now, and the consensus was some of us believe he was a youngling that escaped. Some of us believe he was just out there using the Force, not knowing, kind of like Ezra. We get that answer here. I'm going to play it and pause it so that we can get the illustration and then discuss it.
I was not starving. I was living in a hole in the ground,
A hole in the ground.
and a Jedi found me.
Right. So we find out that he wasn't in the temple. It wasn't another youngling gone bad, another missed Jedi, Kanan, Cal Kestis, so on and so forth. It's not another lost Jedi. It's not another youngling Grogu. No one saved this kid, right? This kid was bored with the Force and basically was living in scraps.
She may have been desperate and ragged like me, but she told me I had potential.
So, again, we're probably never going to know who this person is, right? They're not going to really probably give us this information. Seemed like she was ragged. Now, this is so far gone from the original. I mean, what are you talking about here? We're talking about even if he was born after Order 66, he's in his 30s here? Yeah? 35-ish, maybe?
Yeah, 40 at the latest, probably, or
I'm just still calling him Kanan's age, so he's like probably double the age of Luke,
Sure, right?
Maybe not double, but like 10, 15 years old.
Right. So 35 to 40-ish in that era. So, the question is it somebody like Reva that got away? We know that she had a past before she joined the Inquisitorius. Was it just a random Jedi? But then he mentions these are the thoughts that are going through my head as he's saying this. Like, well, who saved him? Like Raggedy like you. Well, what raggedy ass Jedi do we know? Assad Ventress, she's bounty
Mace
hunting.
Windu. No, I'm just kidding.
Right? Like Mace Windu, but that's not a she unless
No,
you
I
put on
know.
a wig.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Is it a Reva kind of character? Like really, like it starts running through my head when he's like she.
And that was
And then the best part of this monologue comes out. I think the most twisted part, I think that's what I've loved about this show the most, is it's a little bit twisted. Like it's just a little bit fucked up. Like maybe on like a 2 for Disney.
taught me a little before they hunted her down.
So he did get just a little bit of training, right? Probably, lift stuff, try to use the force, try to use lightsaber.
And they made me watch whilst they killed her. That's the galaxy.
So we get a complete breakdown of basically his entire Jedi time, right? You've got found in a hole, taught for a minute.
Marcy Windu.
You got Marcy Windu. You've got potential, and then they made him watch. So potentially pirates are the ones that maybe hunted her down. I mean, why wouldn't they have killed him at the same time?
I was living in a hole in the ground. Then a
Empire.
Jedi fell out of a building and landed in that hole next to me
Well,
with no arm.
Is it like pirates to show, you belong with us, or is it the Empire that found them?
you would think if it was the Empire, they'd probably kill him though too.
That's
right?
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if they made him watch, that
Fair.
seems something more like pirates would do, right? Like, oh, maybe he hid the fact that he was force sensitive to most of the crew, right? At that point, maybe they were just rolling together and they killed her and then told him, you join up or die. And so he joins up and becomes a pirate, right? So they give us the entirety of basically his Jedi training in a nutshell. I don't think we'll ever, to be honest, find out who this is. To be 100% honest, I don't see any relevant point where they give us that, because it seems like this show is over. Like,
Could be an interesting
Oh.
comic story, and I feel like the show itself is over, but the characters and maybe some of the world building in it is definitely probably gonna come back up.
We're gonna see Jod again, 100%.
for sure. I mean, I could see us seeing Wim in an X-wing, right?
Well, he still has the lightsaber too.
Right. So,
Wim took it.
yeah,
Yeah, he had
last.
it at the
We'll
end.
get it. We'll get it here too in a minute. So
I thought sure he was gonna shoot himself in the face with a lightsaber.
I
Like,
was hoping.
John was gonna turn it on and just.
So I like that the dad finally grows some stones here, right? So John's that, and this is what happened with him on Excinder also. He likes to talk, right? He's the captain. He wants everybody to listen to him. And so he just jibber jabbers until dad finally sacks up and punches him in the face, right? And then they wrestle. Lightsaber comes out of hand, and come on, show me the nerd. There it is. So they wrestle a little bit. Everybody's trying to get this. Little dude gets the lightsaber. I like how he has to crawl everywhere.
I like how she has to tell him to get the lightsaber.
I know.
Like, that's your dad, bro. Who cares if he went away for lottery tickets every day?
Right. So he uses a bunch of force abilities here, and then I like how he looks at it this time. Right? I like how he at least looks at it before he turns it on. He's like, "Oh wait, no, that's the wrong side."
Which side?
It's how kids learn,
Hey,
Right here, I thought he was just gonna hit himself right in the chest, like
Go
a
ahead.
hole in his chest.
go ahead. Put that fork in the light socket. Go ahead, Caron. Go ahead, put it in there. Watch what happens.
There was actually a split second during this tug of war where I was like, yo, what if Wim activates it and then
Dude.
lets go?
See, I was thinking
then, like,
even further. Like, what if
Jod pulls it into himself accidentally.
you and me were thinking the same thing?
Yes.
Because I was like, oh, what
When
if
John's trying to.
I thought Wim was going to be brave for a second. Like, I thought he was going to be really brave. And
Yep.
I thought he was going to push her off and ignite it and let his body go. So he was forced into Jod.
Yeah,
And
that
like,
would've been cool.
he's holding the lightsaber in him and then
Yep.
you're like, who got stabbed? Right? Not even show which way it ignites. And then it's Jod on top of it, or it's Wham on top
Right.
of him. And then he pulls
Wham.
the
You
lightsaber.
want to call him
out.
Wham instead of
Yeah.
Wim?
That's what I called him. Wham!
Wham!
Because I was hoping he was going to wham right into him. So I was hoping that was going to happen, that he was going to end up on top of him, and then you see the lightsaber pull out of Jod. I was hoping they were going to go in that direction.
Yeah, that would be cool.
But you know, that I think that would have been a more fun way, but they did it. I like how he uses the Force on his dad's fingers. He's like, no, and he's like breaking his fingers. I was hoping that they were gonna like break. I was like, ooh, how dark are you gonna get on this kids show? Are you gonna break his fingies? Like, ooh, we gonna break his fingies? And then, you know, I like, you know, everybody on this planet is a sissy, right? The moms won't get their hands dirty. Elephant people won't get their hands dirty. The only people that got balls are the kids, right?
And they didn't even drop yet.
And then we finally get our
Wham!
wham moment. Yeah. Okay, so they pull the barrier. We see Jod looks like he's aged 150 years
Mm-hmm.
just in that 10 minutes.
I thought the same thing with all that lighting. I'm like, damn.
Like, bro,
It's like working with these damn kids.
You-
Oh shoot!
you need them to cut that lighting, bro. That lighting didn't do you any justice, my guy. And then we see our boy Wham, Bam. Thank you for the
Wham.
lightsaber. Powers up the lightsaber. I was hoping it was gonna be like a Rey Kylo tug of war kind of thing. I was kind of hoping he was a little Force sensitive. Like I was kind of hoping a little bit that Wim was Force sensitive. I'm not gonna lie. I was kind
Drop
of
him off at Luke's Academy.
I was kind of hoping.
We don't need
Let
any
me
more
get
stupid
Kylo.
Jedi.
I
Well,
agree.
you get killed anyway.
Yeah, and then yeah, I could totally superimpose a lightsaber right here and get some clickbait out of this.
Or
It's a her.
something else.
So
Basically.
she looks
Whatever.
like KG said it right. Yeah, or some of you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch.
Wham!
Wham!
Endless possibilities.
But yeah, Fern does look
Ultimate
like
power.
she's holding her own lightsaber. And then we see the parents. Everybody's like, "Oh my god, the Aurora Borealis!" It's like the Aurora Borealis isn't all the Aurora
What are
Borealis.
those? Stars?
Yeah, what are those?
What are those?
This okay, so no lie, I'm not gonna fuck around. Seeing the X-Wings come out was fucking baller, right? But the B-Wings in the live action right here was probably some of the sickest shit I've seen live action to date.
Yeah.
Bar
That's where all your
none,
money went.
this is fucking amazing. I don't even care how much they spent. I really don't care. And we're gonna get into that at the end. of the stream.
No. He's talking about those credits that the New
Oh, those
Republic's
credits,
gonna
the
get.
Republic credits. Oh,
No,
yes.
I wasn't.
I know, I'm
He was
kidding.
talking about our he's talking about our dollars. But this is probably one of the coolest effects I've seen them do in live action that they did from animation seamlessly. This is probably one of the best illustrations from animation to live action that Disney has ever done, and it was fucking flawless, right?
No.
And we're gonna
The
play.
best one by far is Seb.
I'll kill you.
Looks perfect. He looks
No,
perfect.
He does, but this is
How you
this
gonna
is
like? Come on, that's way more.
this is
more
equal
art.
to like you're gonna you
I'll
see
kill you.
you yeah, I'll kill you.
Silence.
Sir.
Silence.
That was badass. Their attack on it.
I mean, it
Yeah.
like the X-Wings look dope. Everything looks so dope, but the B-Wing, man, like right here, this B-Wing moment, just so cool.
So sick.
So sick, so cool.
Where is it? There it is. Here it comes.
There.
Oh, right there.
Elephants.
Right there.
No, it's right after the elephants.
Oh, right there. Here, we're gonna go 10 seconds. Here, 10 seconds. No, they're running. Yeah, see, I missed it. I told you I missed it.
Well,
Right
yeah.
there.
After the elephants.
After the elephants?
I thought.
Get your shit together, man.
Bro,
Go
Disney
back.
doesn't let you scrub.
Go back. Go back.
Disney scrub.
No, not
is
that far.
fucking terrible.
It is really bad.
Enhance.
It's right after. Yep. Keep going. Pause.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
the
See,
goat.
I'm gonna clip that one just for you. That's gonna be another one I'm clipping. I'm gonna make so many emojis out of this guy. It's ridiculous.
I already got Funko for my wife.
Did they make Funkos yet?
They did.
Really?
No, it's keep going. I
The
think it's
only one I
before
found
that.
was Neil, though.
Okay. So
Yes, elephant celebrating,
here. There we go.
and then the bee wings. Like I said.
Yeah. I was trying to find the elephants. It's hard to find the elephants. Yeah. This
They're
this,
everywhere. They're
this is
everywhere.
probably the sickest illustration that they've done from live action. From there to live action, it's absolutely amazing. I mean, that is exactly what it looked like in Rebels.
Probably
So, yeah.
cooler.
Just
Yeah, that's
so
cool.
cool, man. So yeah, there's those little bits and bobs that are just were huge callbacks. Jod's pissed off, but he just watches as the aliens land. So he stays up in the supervisor tower while everybody leaves. So is he stuck up there? Does he escape? We don't know.
Oh no,
right?
I think that I was gonna say I think after this whole thing, like Zane's locked up, Jod's locked up. I think the
But
Republic
he had a
comes in
huge
and-
smile on his face that we skipped. Like it showed him, and he kind of had this look, and then it would turn into like a grin at the end as he's
Well,
like
no,
watching.
It's more the grin is more for, in my opinion, this moment. I think is the one you're talking about, and this
No,
is more.
keep going, keep going. It's like another 10 seconds. It's when he's looking at the ship falling. Because he walks out there to watch it, and then when he's watching it, he kind of gazes at it for a sec, and then he smiles, and that's the last time we see him. I'm pretty sure.
So maybe he's like, well, they just took out all of my enemies at the same time.
Right.
Now, if I can escape, kind of thing.
Well, yeah, of course. He's doing the General Grievous. Get out!
Well, the frigate also reminds me of, like Scotty was saying, the pleasure barges in the sequels. Right. So you're talking about this look right here.
Yeah, he has, but then keep going because it'll be like in a second. It goes from that to like a
There you go. Keep going.
see. He kind of smirks.
Okay.
Very subtle, but it was enough to where it's like,
So this is what a great way. Oh really? I was in trouble today. This is probably my favorite. Like the cargo hold opens and it's just nothing but
Unreal amount of money.
an unreal amount of credits, right? It's like, oh, and the ship doesn't look that bad. It just looks like it's hanging by bubble gum and duct tape right now, right? It's laying in a hammock, right? But the ship doesn't look super fucked up, right? And
no,
I think
solid landing.
I'd say solid landing. It's in one piece, right?
Yeah, probably still flyable if you can get it out of there somehow.
Come on, they got to have some kind of crane system, right? You can get it out of there.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
How else are they gonna get all that money out?
I
you know?
just like how all the credits fall out, and then there's like, whoop, there's her body
Yeah.
just hanging out. KG's like, yeah, I like for not getting squished by all those credits, right? I mean, so everybody lives, everybody's happy. We see Smee has made his way back,
Just carrying his head.
just carrying his head like a football. Like Nightmare Before Christmas. This was another cool entrance by a Corvette, if I'm not mistaken, right? Republic Corvette.
Hmm.
For real, Stanley's.
So then you see him, and this is why I kind of think maybe we could see him later in like an X-wing or in some kind of, something.
Yeah, plus he's got the lights. You know?
You know what a badass though? Is if Thrawn's ship just rolls in and just annihilates that.
I was
whole
hoping for a post credit
group.
scene, to be honest. I was hoping for some kind of post credit scene.
Or
TIE
some sort
defenders
of
kinda
come out and just
tie-in.
destroy that whole fleet, and then he's like, "Excellent."
It's all mine.
I don't have to take my assessment.
Lone Star.
Inform the council we will no longer have any problems
Right.
with finances.
Right. Right, and then they bring power back up. You know, one little squadron of, you know, B-wings, X-wings, and a. That's
Okay,
it.
so my question, I don't think the Republic is gonna get all these credits. Like, I think the whole how did this not get out to the whole galaxy and then you don't have a bunch of people just trying to take the money? You know what I mean? Like, that's what
Mhm.
I think is happening here.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's
The point of
definitely-
the show, you mean, is like now
Well,
the
just
galaxy
like-
knows about this money.
I feel like it's kind of a setup for that. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, damn, there's all of this money. You're telling me the whole galaxy isn't going to hear about this? Like, there's no way that they
That's
keep
where
it
I'm at.
that tight to where, especially the new, we've already seen how much of a joke the New Republic kind of is. Like,
And not to mention all of the bullshit that they caused when the banking clan was at that place having a meeting.
Oh,
Like all that shit took place while the banking clan was there doing their big summit. Like it wasn't just some, hey, let's go to the spa. It was like a banking clan summit. So that mixed with the same group being the group that's reported at all these other locations. Yeah. Somebody
what-
from the banking clan definitely keep an eye
I
on
was
that.
thinking too, like maybe Jod's little grin is just because he's going to be like an infamous pirate now, or, you know, sort of up there as like someone that's well known for finding this place.
Or he's already
Well-
got some plot. He's already got some scheme.
Well, look, I mean, yes, we don't know where these credits are going to go. Yes, there's a lot of places that this, you know, directions that this can go, but ultimately it just seems like, I mean, as much fun as I've had with this show, I'm a little confused. I mean,
feel you.
trust me, I enjoyed this show thoroughly. I think a Lost in Space, Goonies, Indiana Jones was great, you know, but they found the Holy Grail. They defeated the bad guys, and that's it, right? There's no real further implication for any of these characters. There's no the only further implication here is really where do the credits go?
Well,
Right.
Jod's definitely going into custody.
Sure.
And then he could be a valuable asset when they're fighting Thrawn later.
Or a
That's what I'm
valuable
thinking.
asset for Thrawn, you know what I mean? Potential, which I don't even know if
I mean, well, look at
that would
Jod's
be the
character,
case,
right?
but-
He's not evil. He had plenty of opportunity to murk so many people.
Yeah, he could have
Only
just killed them all at the
people-
start of the episode.
Yeah. The only people he killed are the ones that, like, dude threatened his life. He's like, it doesn't matter if you find this planet, I'm gonna kill you. So first chance
Yeah.
he got, it's like, no, not anymore.
Yeah, or
That was the
Breeders.
only guy we
Yeah.
saw him take out.
Yeah.
You know,
Obi-Wan.
he's
That's
greedy.
an awesome shirt.
Sorry.
He's a greedy fucker, but he's
That's
he's not evil.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, and look, I mean, look, I'm all about, you know, them piloting the Onyx Cinder, and we might see a skeleton crew that is these kids later. Sure. But ultimately, the weird thing
It
is
was-
there's no stakes here.
Kind of.
In-
Yeah, I get you.
In the rest of the galaxy, the only thing this shows me is the only way this makes sense to me. The only way this makes sense is if the Shadow Council, that's led by the young, what is his name? in
Brendel
the
Hux.
sequels? Thank you. By the young Hux, the old man Hux that we know,
Yep.
gets a hold of these credits, right? Builds the Snoke Empire, or Snoke is born, finds out about this place, and takes control of that, which is what makes him so rich, which what gives him so much power in the galaxy. That's the only way. This has to lead back to Snoke and the First Order, or all the way back to Exegol, right? Like this kind of money would make sense as to how the Sith Eternal had the ability, the credits, and the silence to build and amass that kind of fleet in the dark.
That's
I'm
fair.
done trying to make the sequels make sense, but like it would have been a much cleaner ending if you if you had like some Thrawn or like some semblance of it.
That's
Like,
the thing. I mean,
You
You
I
laugh,
agree
but I
with you
think that's what
guys.
they're trying to do.
No, I was gonna say I agree with you guys 100% that like it feels like a complete, nicely tapped in a bow in a time period where it should feel like it kind of connected to the rest, and yet it also
Sure.
feels like it didn't at all.
It should
So
have
it's
connected
like-
to Ahsoka. It should have connected to Boba
Yeah,
Fett.
I
It
think
should have
that's
connected
where
to
we're
Mando.
all kind of fitting. Like
the
what
whole
the heck?
Ahsoka cast was literally across the studio a lot, like right across from it. Like they could have brought in anybody from there that they wanted.
Yeah,
But yeah,
this I don't really know. And this is like I said, I don't come after shows in a negative way. I'm just the way that this makes sense for me is if in Ahsoka 2, we see or
it
in
does feel like it's set up for that, or for even an heir to the empire kind of a thing, where it feels like this money and the show being in this time period, like if it doesn't connect to the rest of the universe, it feels weird that it's in this time period, other than the fact that Jod kind of fits in with his character in terms of the time period, but otherwise it feels kind of weird otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, look, it does feel a little weird, but at the same time, that's when have they ever left us completely on solid ground? Ever. Right? We finished the Book of Boba Fett. Where are we? Nobody knows where.
We have a post-credit scene that still has no relevance.
Correct. Kenobi, right? We end a show in a place where could we see more? Will we see more? Maybe we won't see more.
Probably not.
We don't know. We get into Acolyte, same ending, right? We get in all of the shows leave ambiguous, right? And they leave us on with these questions for us to continue answering. But ultimately, if this money seems like a perfect segue into Thrawn's rise. I think the rise of Snoke is way, way, way more likely to start now at this point, because he needs to have aged or be at an age with political sway by the time we see him in a new in Force Awakens. Right? He's got all the power. He's the Supreme Chancellor. He's amassed all of the entire control of the galaxy. If his collective, the cloning faction of
He's
that,
a Supreme Chancellor?
yeah, that's why they
I
call
thought he's
Kylo.
just a
That's why
Supreme Leader of the.
Supreme Leader, Supreme
Yeah,
Chancellor.
he doesn't have anything to do with the Senate.
Okay, there you okay, Supreme Leader.
Yeah.
If he becomes the Supreme Leader of the new empire, how did he do that without amassing a great fortune, right? And that's Palpatine ultimately. However you want to skin that cat, that's completely up to you. Just make sure to spay neuter your pets, help control the pet population. But yeah, I mean, if this leads to the hands of Snoke, and that's how he amasses so much power, then that makes sense.
There's just a massive void right now, like a vacuum that is going to be filled by the First Order, and we don't know when that's going to happen. I hope that it does happen, like kind of all at once. Like I feel like Disney should try to somehow interject a plan we didn't know about that led to potentially more of the Sith Eternal being able to even gather on Exegol. Because if that's just like, oh, that's where they are, that's another thing that fans hate. So if they can just connect all the dots to like where's the Empire actually been hiding? Because I feel like the Shadow Council, like there's more to that, But
I think they stay in hiding for a little while longer, because in my opinion, the next like big thing that's going to happen in the galaxy might not even necessarily be the Empire. It might be remnants, but I feel like because Thrawn is showing up, like he's got at least some power within the remnants, but I feel like that's going to be kind of a shift where like half of them maybe follow Thrawn and whatever he might be up to, and then the rest of them kind of go off into the hiding for the whole Exegol thing.
Well, he has to
he
lose.
first order.
He's the big dog though right now. Like
but
they're
he-
following him even though he hasn't even been there for.
But he
5
has to
seconds.
lose ultimately. That's the
Yeah,
ultimate.
that's what I mean though.
Either
is
that
like-
or he has to win.
but
and
that's
Does he have to
no,
lose, or does
he's-
he have to just
he's
go back
not
to the
gonna-
chiss?
He's not going to
Exactly.
win because the New Republic is still in order. And yes, that's my whole thing is I don't even think he's really trying to get power over the Empire. I think he's trying to use whatever power he has in the Empire to go deal with something else.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Either he has to lose or he has to leave. Either way, he has to be gone
By the time you get to the first order.
and that's the thing is that
if not way before.
is that is that because he amasses enough power, or is it because it's finally the deadline and he's out of time and has to go?
I think it's
you know-
because he's been gone so long and wants to help his people with what they're dealing with.
His MO has always been get an ally to fight the Gris.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Oh, I mean, and so to answer this, Palpatine didn't know about this, otherwise he would have used it, right? And based on how you dissect this episode, it seems like whether the droid cut off communications to the outside or the outside cut off communications to the droid on At-Aten, either way, there was no more talking being done, right? And so they were in the dark by themselves the entire course of the Empire. They could have lost communication before Palpatine's rise, right? But just because, we makes us think that, but then you hear him say, well, the last transmission, the Jedi are traitors. Okay, well, that was technically the last day of the Republic. So it makes sense that that's the last transmission they got. And then Palpatine had no idea.
Yeah, otherwise he would have been using it.
Otherwise, they would have been, the stormtroopers would have been laced in gold. Every stormtrooper would have had an entire gold uniform. They would have all looked like Captain Phasma, right? Like,
Yeah, they
Em-
even had a funding issue at one point because they were putting so much money into the Death Star to where they couldn't fund stuff like the TIE Defender program that Thrawn was
Correct.
running.
correct. Or they had to choose, and because of the results of Rebels, that his program got shut down. That would have been the tide that turned the war potentially. Instead of the Death Star, they would have had a fleet of hyperdrive capable
If
TIE
they
fighters.
had both.
Right, exactly. So we hear these arguments. We see one getting shut down. We hear the frustrations in Rebels about the TIE Defender or about the Death Star, about Krennic's program. So we hear about the funding issues. If Palpatine had access to this mint, he never would have had funding issues. One of those vaults could have funded the Death Star. Right? No need for gold uniform. Yeah. Star Killer base. Exactly. Like this. That's what I'm saying. Where does this money come in? Does somehow Snoke get his hands on it? And that what leads him to be able to build this, because they're also consigned soldiers. They're taken from young and programmed. Well, to do that, you got to have money to run those kind of programming centers, right? So, I don't know if the New Republic is going to have control of this for long, if they do at all. Mace Windu, not an emissary.
No,
No.
definitely not.
But I mean, like I said, the show was really good. Ultimately,
It's gold in a bus though.
I was gonna say he is a bus driving bitch, but
he is a bus driving bitch, right? I mean, he does, it's true. It's true. I was thinking, somebody was like, "Oh, you should do a shirt where it's like Vernestra holding, Chimera under the bus like that." I was like, "No, I'd rather like have her whipping him or something, like on a whipping post, or I don't know, something crazy if we're gonna go all crazy with it."
Now.
I mean, I'm not the one that created it. You talk to Leslie Hedges.
hey.
That
he wasn't the one
that's
that.
that's some of her trauma she's trying to work out on TV, not me. I'm just
Chimera's
going
the
with
dude standing naked in a lake. So
That's
you
what
know.
when he's the one with scars on his back. I didn't put those scars there. Leslie put those scars there. She's the one working out personal trauma on screen, not me.
Actually, Vernestra Rowe put those there, but we don't want to
That's
talk
what I'm
about
saying.
that.
But who wrote Vernestra Rowe? I mean, just saying.
I think she is his master.
But I do have to say, John Watt knows how to make a show. Right? Like that dude knows how to write an awesome show knows how to keep you engaged and how to make it fun, knows how to write an episodic. That didn't feel like the rest of the shows. That felt like an episodic.
It was actually good.
That's probably the best. That's probably the best cut show they've ever done.
Saying it. I've been saying it for 10
Cuts.
minutes.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
That's probably the best edit they've ever done, bar none. As far
probably
as
Ahsoka after that.
I'm
but
just talking
yeah.
ending episodes, flow of the episode, every episode having its own distinct tone, its own distinct mission, its own distinct set.
Each of the kids kind of had their own episode and moments where they kind of
Correct.
shine too.
Right.
Yeah.
The show was
Yeah.
probably, I mean, let this dude do more. Hire
Let him
this dude
cook.
to do more, right? Give him some more ingredients. Let him cook. Yeah.
I feel like
This-
Star Wars is more of his bag too, because he wanted to just do the younger Spider-Man, and then now he's older, and he's like, "Yeah, get out of here, John. Let's go do the kid stuff." You know?
I mean, he nailed it, man. Neil ended up being the sissy turned tough guy, you know. Yeah, man, he put a Rancor to sleep, man. No, I
got
mean,
one
look,
good shot of
He-
it. Oh, gotta go.
he
He got a
he-
girl back in episode like
he got
4,
the
dude.
girl, right? Only one to get any play. He got the girl. He learned how to find the cannon. He saved the day by not letting the Onyx Cinder get shot down by the pirates. He took
Took one for the team.
he took it,
All right.
man.
Hold your horses. He got the girl. Then, like 10 minutes later, he fainted. Right, and
He saved the day.
he didn't save. John
He's like-
saved them all.
He's like,
Friends, right now.
They gave Neil all the credit for that. John's the one that ran up behind Smee and pulled the
He-
plug on him.
he's true. He
Like,
should have used the
and
force.
nobody
I'm just saying.
thinks
Is
John.
John the one
Nobody
that
thinks
shot the pirates that were
That's what I'm
killing
saying.
everybody?
Yeah, he's a hero. He heroed the day. I'm just saying. He remembered in a clutch moment that there was a big gun there. He's like, "There's a turbo laser. I'm gonna go shoot the big gun." Right, and he shot him, and he saved the day, and that's it. Like, little dude was
Sacks were grown.
sack. He grew some sack, exactly. So Neil gets sack growing of award for the show.
The boulders have dropped.
Yeah, man, very good show. Bit of missed opportunity.
He finally got his Titus.
Right. I mean, honestly, I would have
Slow
preferred.
down.
I just didn't address it. I would prefer if a cutscene would have been Wim in the gunner seat, Neil piloting, KB teching, and Fern captaining, and they take off on in the ship by themselves. That would have been a cool ending. Cutscene, the logo skeleton crew, and now they're off on adventures in space, right? Like
Sax repo.
with Smee sitting in the co-pilot seat, right? Like that would have been a more fun ending than just, oh yay, Adam got saved, right?
That's great.
That's phenomenal.
That'd be amazing YouTube handle. Not gonna lie, Sax repo.
Sax Revo. That'd be that. Well, remind me
Neil's
of that.
dad.
Remind me of that name at the when the stream's over. I'll tell you what that should be. Know what? Did Jod know what Neil knew? It doesn't make any sense. Those kids did get the best of him. Yeah, I mean, Jod was just a greedy pirate, man. That's it. He wasn't this Jedi with mind control abilities. He didn't have premonitions of the future. This was a sloppy ass Jedi, or a sloppy ass Force user that knew a couple of Jedi tricks, and that was basically it.
He
was a pirate.
also didn't think that these kids were paying attention to shit, but they really were learning so much along the way, like about themselves, about each other. I don't know. He literally
What happens
was
at that age,
just-
you know.
greedy.
He underestimated them.
Well, he underestimated
100%.
him. He overestimated himself, right? I mean, there's so many instances where he could have just called it a day and took the W, but
You're just an idiot. Like,
he had to keep playing, right? It's like when you're at the tables and you're like, man, I'm up
want
$2,000. Whoo, come on, just one more. And then you lose all your money and you walk away from the tables empty handed. That's what he kept doing. he kept trying to ride the wave instead of just getting off, right?
It's like,
He
bro, you
wanted
got
more and didn't
an
know he
ancient
shouldn't.
ship that is literally the golden ticket, and you can just keep cashing it in, cashing it in. You
but
screwed it up.
But instead, he had to control you all work for me now, right? And it's like, man, you could have just shut up and took your gold and made your billions and called it a day and lived on a planet. Where did Andor get arrested? On that planet with some hyena, right? Could have lined up with some cutie Twi'lek hanging out on the beach, enjoying that ride.
Could have find one of those jiggly boob aliens and just had yourself a time.
You could have
many as you want to play with.
Found some Max Rebo bands playing and ended up at a jazz bar, hanging out like Neil. It's just
Sax Rebo. Yeah.
There's just a little bit of disappointment here. I really enjoyed the series, but I got to say, I mean, the ending makes me give it lower stars.
I mean, you don't think they landed it? I think.
I told you, man, if there wasn't some big reveal, I can't go higher than a 7.9.
Yeah, I mean,
why do we always have to have a big reveal, though? I didn't think
I need one of these shows to do something more than
I feel like the big reveal was the world building along the way.
Yeah.
It isn't about the ending, it's about the friends we made along the way.
No, but for real, like I feel
destination, it's about the journey, okay?
Straight up. No, but for real, the
they made friends.
The world building and the money do feel like they can still show up again and have a part to play in this whole Mandoverse.
The jot of it all, man. There's not many Force users left, and you target him the right way, he's a weapon.
Finally,
just saying, he's a survivor too.
True.
But where do you go when you need like a resistance or you need like you're outmanned? You go recruit some pirates because you know they could fight. That's all I'm saying. It happens like every show.
Sure.
And
why wasn't at least one of those New Republic pilots somebody we've seen in a previous?
That's what I was wondering.
Like, just
one. There's got to be a lot of pilots.
Like,
out there,
why wasn't Zeb in the Cobra? Or I'm sorry, in the Corvette, right? Like, why didn't we get a zoom in and it's like Zeb commanding the fleet?
Hurting for these cameos.
I mean, I don't care either way.
Yeah, it's just that they.
I'm hurting for it to be connected because if it's in the Mandalorian, someone said it earlier. Like if it's in the Mandalorian timeline, the only goddamn thing connecting it is Zane. Or Vane. He's the
what did season 1 of Mando connect to though?
Nothing, but it built an entire.
It was the first season was like all First Order, all Moff Gideon, and like
that was remnants
outposts.
First Order.
Yeah, I mean that's what it was establishing. It was establishing where the Empire was immediately after their fall.
Yeah,
so that's like the reason that show blew up. Like that's the reason because it's super connected to the future timelines of Star Wars.
Yeah, and then the boat.
I don't think that's why it blew up. Yeah, I think maybe that's why it blew up mostly. But
again, that's another part of the future timeline of Star Wars. Like
it was a story and characters, and they were all. For the most part, it was all original characters.
Well, it was new.
People we've never seen before.
It was new. People had a taste in their mouth from the sequels that was not happy. They come out with a show that is completely off axis. They didn't really connect it to anything until the final scene with Moff Gideon and the Darksaber. That's the only time that they really connected that show to anything that was relevant to what we had seen, right? Yeah. Carbonite, yes. Boba Fett was season 2. Right, so nothing had initially connected us to the existing timeline, except for the Darksaber at the end of that at the end of that first season.
End of season 1,
right? So
I like the idea of starting this show like one season. I mean, it kind of goes against what this show is because again, I don't see how they can continue this. Let's see, there's just not. I don't see what stories there. I mean, I can see them showing up in other places, but
they finished the book, right? They didn't need. This is a complete story. Kids got lost. Kids spent time in space. Kids learned lessons. Kids make it home. Planet home in danger. Kids save the day. Planet revealed, but saved. I mean, it's a nice tight bow. It wraps a show up. I was just hoping for a little more connective tissue. That's all. Just a little more. I give it a 9. I give it a solid 9 because it kept me engaged week to week. It was fun. It didn't piss me off for the most part, but ultimately, I need just a couple more pieces of
That's-
connective tissue.
That's the bar for Star Wars now. Don't piss me off.
And I mean, I like the whole show, but I can't give it a 10. I can't give it a 10 without more connective tissue, right? If the only
I
connective
just the only reason I say that bringing like the remnants in for the end, it just would have been a cleaner ending than the. It's totally open ended now, and it would have been a lot cleaner if it was like Thrawn's forces or remnants like coming in.
sure,
and
solid
taking-
9, solid 9 could have been a
What?
10 if they would have just packaged it better at the end, right? Given us a post credit. They've done post credit scenes in almost everything. Give us a post credit scene that this connects somewhere else, anywhere else,
I
right?
feel like it did good enough to where it didn't need the member berries, but I still give it a 9 also.
Yeah.
And if it had the member berries, it would have been a 10.
Absolutely. And that's where I'm at. And I think Scotty's
Yeah.
the same way. He's just being a point harsher because he expects more. But I think we're all in the same
It's
boat.
still,
I think,
I still, again, it still can connect. Like we still can get like
Yeah.
the beginning of,
True.
you know, the Mando movie, and like all of a sudden, all the pirates are like, "Yo, Ad-Aden's real, and they found the location. Let's go to it," kind of thing. Like that could totally happen.
yeah, look, I mean, they could use a lot of this elsewhere, but this is kind of wrapped up, right? This show is kind of a wrap. If we see characters later, it's going to be because Wim is grown up. KB's on a starship, right? There's no, Neil
It's-
is a senator. It doesn't.
It's like those sports where it's like the sports that you watch that have like overtime rules built into the game, but then they can also end in a fucking draw.
right.
Like,
Football.
don't make
You just-
overtime rules if the game can
Soccer.
still end in a draw, bro. Like, don't hype up your shows. Put a goddamn guy in there with a blue lightsaber that's probably from the High Republic. Don't put in
Definitely.
ancient scrolls from a moon observatory that's just like the video game, and they're hiding planets just like the video game, and then do nothing with it, bro.
Yeah,
like
I get the
I-
same exact feeling, Scotty. You're
I
absolutely
can't.
right.
I
You're
can't be
absolutely right.
connecting all your bullshit and dragging the casuals along for you for weeks and weeks to
Well,
get nothing.
Not
at
just the
end.
cash.
I
dude, the
just love how
fans.
Obsession made Neil John Belushi's character from Animal House.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a senator now.
He's a senator. He's just a senator now. Like that's look at him. They're great peacekeepers. Yeah, I mean, look, I agree with you, Scotty. I can't drag the fandom along. I can't continue to carry the torch if you're not going to finish, right?
Mhm.
This like you said, this has the same lack of follow through.
I think they
Right.
need a post credit scene at,
Dude,
the,
a
at the end of
post-credit-
the seasons.
this one definitely like put us.
Yeah, they need to
somewhere.
learn that. They don't do that for anything.
Well, it's so weird because the last time they did it was Book of Boba, and then it's like we never got a resolution to that still, and then they haven't done it since, and it's like, what the?
Was it Book of
flip?
Boba or was it second
No,
season
Book
Mando?
of Boba.
No, it's
Book of
Boba
Boba
because
with
they've-
they had
Oh,
the
yeah,
post
yeah,
credit
yeah.
scene with what homeboy that was in the suit. I can't think of his name now.
Mm,
Cobb Vanth.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
him over here somewhere. He's chilling.
Yeah, I mean it's again, there's lots
It's
of
in your
Easter
back
eggs. There's a
Mm.
ton of information, but
We should
ultimately,
make that Funko. The Cobb Vanth back to Funko.
there you
Funko.
go.
I would get that. That's cool as shit.
It seems like they're I have to drag the fans along another finish line because they just don't finish well.
Yeah.
That's
it's
what
just-
she said.
Yeah, I mean
It's
maybe
tough.
Uh,
It's tough. It's tough scene.
there's just a couple different a post credit scene would have wrapped this up. Like I said, put the kids on the ship with some parental supervision, and you're off to see if the other planets are still there, right? Like,
If they don't keep this planet under wraps, like it's not safe.
well, I mean, can the
Mm-mm.
barrier be restarted? I mean, there's so many options. It is yes, it turns it off, but does it turn it back on? What has to be done? Do they have to start over?
It destroyed it, but
But ultimately, like, yeah, put the kids in the ship with some adult supervision and let's go see about the other planets, right? Let's go to Ad Akron. A question that was answered. Apparently, Ad Akron was the ultimate map to the planets because we didn't see the pillars in there the way we did at the supervisor tower on Adatin. So it seems like Adatin was strictly a mint, uh, clerical kind of place, and had a control room to protect the barrier. But in Ad Akron, we didn't see that. We just saw the pillars with all the addresses. So it seems like that was the address. Ad Akron was the address book, and this was just a mint, right? Because I didn't see any pillars anywhere in that room, and we didn't see a master computer on Ad Akron either. So was that ruled differently, not by droids? There's still questions out there that I think they could answer. They could have given us hope to answer in a post-credit scene with the kids on the ship or something, right? I think it's just a sloppy ending. So they're going to get a 9 out of me for the whole series because regardless of what you say, it was a fun show,
Oh, very.
right?
It's still like probably my favorite show.
Yeah,
So
I still
far.
think that they need to do more stuff like this. It's just, again, all of us have the same issue. It's like this story feels so contained, but yet you put it in a time period where it shouldn't. Like
Maybe.
No, yeah, really, this show feels like it was trapped in a space where it doesn't know if it wants to focus on the current lore or if it wants to focus on lore that's like really old. So
They could have
like,
easily had one run in with Hondo and just set up a whole
Yeah.
other spin-off series, and it would have
Yep.
been amazing.
What?
How do you not hear your fans? Everybody wants a show with that guy. It's a weekly adventure. It doesn't even have to tie into much. It could be a weekly adventure show. And it'd be awesome. Like, so that guy messing with people.
I think I'd
every
be
week.
down for that. I just don't know if everybody in the fandom necessarily would.
They get down. They get down.
I mean,
I kind of agree a little bit with this. I feel like they have a plan, but the plan is just going to take so long to reveal because they actually do have shows that they want to like work in like this show.
Or the plan is stupid, and that's why they're messing everything up. I don't know.
well,
I don't
here's-
think the plan's stupid. They've set up some pretty good stuff so far that we haven't seen yet. So
The path, like the path
Well,
is one
the
thing that
path
I'm
is
really
dope.
excited for. Like there's things out there I'm excited for, but then there's
But
other
are
things
they
that's
ever
just
going
like-
to touch that again?
Right.
Well,
That's what
I'm
saying.
talking
There's
about
too much
like
going on.
Mortis, Heir to the Empire. All of that stuff is set up right now. That's pretty freaking cool.
Those are what have me hype. Yeah. But then
Yeah.
why do a show
Right.
like this, or why are we doing a
100%,
Mando and
100.
Grogu movie that
Again,
like
maybe that movie is like starts off with the pirates figuring
Yeah.
out about Aladdin. But yeah, no, I get you. It right now the way that season 1 ended and the way that the show has ended as its contained self, yeah, it just
I'm in a weird
doesn't-
spot with it. I'm in a weird
It feels
spot.
weird with that. I get you.
You know what it is too? Like all the I'm sorry, but all the best shows, like you end the first season with the heroes being down. Like Game of Thrones first season, they chop a guy's head off. Like when you least expect it. Like even
the
like
red-
you go back.
the
Oh.
Red Wedding.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Like you don't give the payoff right away. Like they could have ended this somewhere in the middle and had the kids still like trying to figure out how to get back home, and then you set it up.
That would have
so
pissed people off.
But
Well-
you know what it would do? It'd make them want to watch more.
I mean, this
I
show.
still want to watch more every week. So
I know this is fun.
It was. I mean, it was a fun show. It opened up a lot of places, but I feel like with not Outlaws, with Survivor, right? That was the last one, right? Survivor, Jedi Survivor. So with Survivor, the High Republic story there, the mention of Old Republic credits in Outlaws, we have this show that mentions the High Republic. We have Acolyte that kind of touches the High Republic. It seems like they were on this High Republic buzz this whole year, and the fans kind of shit on it. And so are they continuing that direction with the cancellation of Acolyte, with this show running its course, with, all of this going on? Were they trying to slowly lead and leak out the High Republic to the fans, and then they see Acolyte, it gets the buzzsaw, and now they're kind of drifting away. They have an opportunity now to drift away from the High Republic timeline and dive back into the Mandoverse.
I don't think they know what they want to do, man.
I feel like now that I'm thinking about it too, like it feels almost like there was like parts of this that like are gonna show up again, but they didn't put it, like they kind of left it open ended. Like with Jod, you don't see what happened to him really. You see the ship falling, and that's it. And then you get the money, but you don't really get any resolution as to what's happening, other than the fact that the planet is now open to the rest of the galaxy, or like, you know, open season for that planet in a sense. But
I do think that we'll see that pale-skinned bounty hunter chick again too, because she's actually the voice of the main character from Brave, the animated movie. Like, she's a famous actress. So sure, if people like that who are actual bounty hunters come back, start showing up in these movies and are connected to Mando, great. But like, man, if this show was literally just to expose that there's this money out there that someone's gonna find now, it's like, all right, cool. But I don't know if you had to do a whole show for it.
I mean, on its own, it's a great show, right? On its own, it's a great show. The problem is, we need, with everything that's going on in Star Wars, a one season hit doesn't do anything, especially when you're spending this much money, right? So again, I don't know if this was another attempt at the High Republic, and that's what this whole last 2024 was about, was trying to test the waters on the High Republic. And it seems like, unfortunately, the fans are reluctant with the cancellation of Acolyte, with the, this show, all the other references. It just seems like,
I feel like fans have been reluctant on the High Republic since it came out, especially because like a lot of people that were into the EU and into the Old Republic wanted that, and then they got almost shoved the High Republic down their throat instead, kind of thing.
well, I mean, this goes back to what we've been talking about for a while. The fans complain to get us out of the Skywalker timeline, to get us away from that. They did that with the Mando, and that's still going to lead us to Rey. That's still in the Skywalker saga technically. They were okay with that, but then they literally remove us from the entire Skywalker timeline, literally put us potentially 100 years away from that, and the fans still complain about it. And the fans throw temper tantrums because somebody's once secretary and some actress mentions her rap video during the season. Who gives a shit? The show was fun. It wasn't perfect. No show ever is. I mean, but it seems like everything that they've released, High Republic, the masses have made a conductive effort to fucking shit on it.
Yeah, fans aren't ready for that.
I would say the one thing they didn't was
You kids are gonna love it.
Jedi Survivor, and that's because it was more Empire era and had High Republic flavor to it.
The whole story was about the High Republic.
Well, yeah, every aspect of that High Republic story was fire. Nobody can
Yeah,
say
that's-
otherwise.
But
Yeah.
again,
Like,
it's that whole story was
Digging.
High Republic. The
Mhm.
entire story of Jedi Survivor was not about Cal Kestis.
No.
It was about
Dagon
fucking
Gara and
Dagon
Yeah.
Gara.
his betrayal by the Jedi.
That's it. The whole
Yeah.
story was about Dagon Gara, and
The Jedi allowed the Nile to attack that guy, which is
So-
fucking crazy.
like the
That's
whole
nuts.
story was about the High Republic and about this guy and about finding out what happened to this guy. And we get there, and it's like, there's no. They take us. They do what we ask at Lucasfilm. Take us away from this. Take us away from the Skywalker timeline. They give us these shows that do that, and they're not happy. So what do? They put them in Ahsoka, right? They give us Ahsoka, which was brilliant, but they put Anakin in Ahsoka. They take us back down. Now the new thing, I think, Scotty, is this what we were supposed to talk about at the end of the stream? Was the new Ahsoka
Abeloth.
leaks? The new Ahsoka leaks are potentially, yes, Abeloth, which we were talking about, which everybody called me an idiot for saying that name the second episode of the
Stupid.
season. But now I'm hearing
I don't
rumors
think I
that we're
don't
going to get a
know.
Kenobi in the next season of Ahsoka.
People are saying that's potential. I heard that.
I
Yeah.
think that's
I have
fucking
not heard
ridiculous.
this. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
What?
Now, if it's on the astral plane, like if it's on the plane of existence where Obi-Wan is talking to Yoda and Qui-Gon and Anakin shows up and Ahsoka gets dragged back into the mindscape, cool. But if he shows up, I'm gonna lose my mind.
They take the wrong messages from what works out. Like people loved the scenes with Anakin and Ahsoka because it was just cool as shit. And you got to see some of the Clone Wars stuff on screen and some of that. And then they take out of that, like, oh, they want to see more Force Ghosts.
This is what I think too.
Let's make Obi-Wan.
No,
This
I
is
don't
what I
that's
think.
what it is. Yeah, no, I don't even know
know,
if it, well, it could totally be that, or and more flashbacks to Clone
This would be
Wars
the
even.
best. This would be the best because they have the actors at the perfect
That would-
age right now to do it.
Ooh,
Anakin,
that would
yeah,
be amazing.
Anakin needs a little de-aging, but compared to Ewan, he does look like a young man, right? And then the young Ahsoka is at that perfect age that they could swing this thing, right? They could do that. That would be
That'd be
the
sick.
only way I would want to see Ewan
Let's
in Ahsoka.
go.
That would be fucking
That's-
fire, dude.
That's what I was gonna say too. The fact that like it wasn't just that they threw Anakin in there. Anakin is the freaking Mortis god now. He
Sure,
is the
yes,
father.
Yes.
He definitely is. And so in that sense, he already had the ability to take Ahsoka and put her into a dream state or whatever when she was dying to show the flashback. So yeah, it's easily possible, maybe even that planet is strong enough in the Force for Obi-Wan to even have a conversation with Ahsoka there. She
Well,
already
but that's
saw
what I'm saying.
Anakin just standing there. So
But well, Anakin's dead and Obi-Wan's dead, and everybody's
they're both
dead.
Force ghosts.
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying. Everybody's dead. So cool. Having that conversation on the astral plane would be bitching, right?
But
I'm
what
all
if they
about
don't even
that.
need to me it seems like this planet Peridia or whatever this place is in the new I think it's Peridia.
We're calling
This
it Peridia.
planet might be strong enough in the Force where Force ghosts can just show up.
Well, but what if we go to the Zepho temple, right? What if we go back to the temple and there's something below it? It's not just this tall temple that the Dathomirans built. What if there's something much like the Jedi Temple on Coruscant? The Dathomirans just built on top of the Zepho, right? Or because we did see, what was his name, Scotty? The Zepho Dark.
He would
Crayet? No.
Kujit,
Thank you.
something like
Kuja.
that.
Something like
Kuja?
that for sure.
If we
Kujet.
get now, if the Temple of Kujet is actually something that Ahsoka finds and it can be a conduit,
Well, It's on Dathomir,
I always felt
his
like
body.
there was a world between world looking like portal when they were showing Peridia. You saw the whales kind of form a circle.
Hmm.
It would be really cool if Ahsoka could find a temple that allows her to communicate with them, right? Like it's just a really strong force sensitive place on Peridia.
If we're gonna be stuck on Peridia for most of the show, though, they better be doing something badass.
I don't think we're gonna be stuck, to be honest.
Because she legit found her way there in like one episode. She could easily find her way off there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't think they
She
can
jumped-
space whale them back though.
why?
No, it's going to be a lot harder to get them back until it's not. But I don't think that they don't have to stay there. They can stay there the whole season and then come back like literally in a different show.
So
Clearly, like a hyperspace lane they go to. Off
I
of
have
that
not
course.
talked
Like, I
about
don't-
this on stream yet. I let the rest of the Star Wars YouTubers cover this. Ray Stevenson has been supposedly replaced and finally recasted. Now this drives the T'Challa of Marvel recast into overdrive because this is another character that Disney, Star Wars, Lucasfilm is willing to recast. We have no choice. Another deceased actor. They have no choice but to recast. Now, from what I understand, it's supposed to be the Mountain from Game of Thrones.
No,
I think it's the Hound.
The Hound.
The Hound,
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry,
messed
the Hound,
that
not
up.
the Mountain.
I messed that
Sorry.
up.
So
there was
Hound-
confusion on that because they thought it was the mountain for a minute. A lot of
right.
leakers.
So it's the Hound
Oh.
from Game of Thrones, which is great. Great actor. In just aside from Game of Thrones, but with makeup, hair, makeup, they might be able to pull it off.
I saw a photo of him, like I think at awards or something, and we're so used to seeing him in the makeup.
Yes.
You're like, he doesn't look anything like. Once he
No.
takes it off, it's like, oh, he's like,
Right.
oh, okay.
He's one of those actors that
Yeah.
really, with makeup, hair and makeup, really transforms into somebody else completely.
Okay.
Great actor, great. But here's my point. If you're going as far as to recast a character at the end of the series that was looking for a higher power, that was looking for a different power, that we were continually saying was Abeloth and getting shit on every week for saying it. And now it looks like we're going to be in the Abeloth era. Recasting him means that we are going to have a Shin storyline. We're going to have a Balin storyline. We're going to have Ahsoka and Sabine with the Ninja Turtles, and their storyline, plus whatever is going on in our galaxy with Ezra and Thrawn. So it potentially could be split into two separate back and forth between here and Peridia and our galaxy and Peridia. But on Peridia alone, you're going to have this story that's going to take place and the release of Abeloth. Now, I firmly believe that Abeloth is basically going to eat Balin. I don't think Balin's character is going to last very long, to be honest.
I did not initially. The fact he got recasted makes me kind of wonder if he will, but I agree with you. I kind of think he might die.
Yeah, I think we're going to see the demise of Balin Skull quite quickly, and I think Shin is actually going to be the vessel that Abeloth takes in her. You know, she's full of that rage and full of so much power and anger. It just fits the female vessel.
I really think they go as far as that pyramid being the Mortis Monastery on
Yes.
Peridia, and that
Well-
we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see the father again. It might even be Anakin. Who knows? But like he's standing on the statue of the dude behind him. They're massive statues of the son, daughter, and father. He's pointing right at that pyramid. I think it is Mortis.
Well, and you see the starlight, right?
Right.
Not only do you see the pyramid in the distance, you actually see a shimmer of starlight, right? So
Mhm.
there is something majestic and magical on the horizon for sure. So we are definitely going to get a temple. Now, could this have been the temple of the Zepho? And could they have been the ones that trapped Abeloth, right? And this was her prison. That's why Peridia ended up turning into a planet of death, because they trapped Abeloth there, and the darkness seeps into the planet, whatever. But it definitely seems like Balin is trying to release Abeloth. That's what we got from last season. And Shin is obviously involved in this. I seriously think she's going to be the vessel. And then we're going to get some fighting between Ahsoka, and we're going to see that Anakin potentially, maybe Anakin starts explaining Abeloth now that he has all the knowledge from now that he's the Almighty, right? So there's just a lot of options. I'm very curious. The Ewan stories make me very nervous because I really don't want them to pull him back into the fold too much in this show.
So are they not? Is this not like the old? Is this not the old stuff with Bespin Bulletin and Jason Ward, where they were saying that Ahsoka was going to see the Revenge of the Sith fight, but played out differently, where Anakin actually kills Obi-Wan, and so it's Obi-Wan's body laying on the beach in the lava, and it's her fighting Anakin on
I
Mustafar.
remember that report. I remember that now.
Yeah,
that you
And then there was
mention that.
another scenario where it was like
Another reason I don't listen to those guys.
there was another
No, yeah.
scenario where it was like Obi-Wan and her both fighting Anakin and still losing, and it was like the Force showing her there was nothing you could have done to stop Anakin from turning into Darth Vader. Because again, like this, people forget that Dave Filoni has drawn photos of Ahsoka where her tendrils are to her feet. So he intends for her to live to the
very long
end, the
time.
fullest length of her life. And I really think they're setting her up, like everyone thinks, to be the daughter. So she's not just going to die. Like, she's going to outlive everybody. I think she'll outlive Ezra. I think she'll outlive, I don't know how old
I
her
have a
species
theory
lives,
on how
but-
she dies, but it's just way out there. So
Apparently, it was filmed for season 1, but was cut. I call bullshit.
right.
Otherwise,
So-
we would have seen deleted scenes by now on somebody's Insta somewhere, Twitter versus TikTok.
I mean, not if they're saving it for season 2, though. To be fair,
Right.
Man.
And if it's Jason Ward, I believe it, because
he's reputable.
Yeah, but
he
again,
usually doesn't
these
say
guys aren't
things.
always right. Like, I'm
But
sorry.
they want to be right.
They want to.
So
I
when they
want them
say
to be-
things, they're
I
pretty
want
confident.
them to be right, but ultimately, everything they say doesn't come true. That's why I don't listen. Right. That's why I develop my own opinions and try to find out what's
I
really going
don't-
on.
It's fair.
Always
know?
like to get spoiled sometimes either. That's why I try to stay away lately.
It's hard to not get spoiled.
Yeah, 100% it is. But then, like, when you're searching for it, of course you're gonna get spoiled too.
Right, but at the same time, look, I know these guys have inside communications with a lot of people, and maybe they did try a scene of doing this, and then they're like, yeah, it hit the cutting room floor. But I figure we would have seen a leak of something of somewhere by now.
But that's what I'm saying.
Right?
If they're actually doing it for season 2, and that's why Ewan's in season 2, maybe that would make a lot of sense and be the reason that it's not on the cutting room floor and on the internet everywhere.
I just
because
don't
they're
see-
still using it.
I don't see how you can make Obi-Wan the brother.
Brother, oh, he's not. Who said that?
These are visions she's having. It's not like
No. But earlier somebody was saying, I don't know who, but like the father being Anakin, the daughter being Ahsoka. The
No,
brother being,
no.
you can't complete the Mortis gods without a dark sider, right? And I think that's kind of where you need somebody on the dark side of things to complete that circle. We don't really have anybody for that, right? So right now it
We
just
do in
seems like
Legends.
we're not in Legends,
No, I know.
right? We're not
Sam
in.
Whitworth's is on. They have him on
I-
speed dial.
I get it, but again, you'd have to really back channel that story, right?
Could though make a whole
Um,
Star Killer show. Come on.
So we're thinking. So here's what I'm thinking. We're thinking Anakin is the father. We're thinking Ahsoka
Sure.
is the daughter. I think that Balin will be consumed or assume the brother, and that Shin will be the birth of the mother, Abeloth, who has
Yeah.
been lost for forever. So I think
she
So
has
she
that
went
look
through a lot
also.
of-
she's trapped there. She's trapped there on that
Well,
planet.
and Shin has that look,
Mhm.
right? She's got that blonde.
I think they
crazy-eyed
specifically cast
Abeloth.
her for that
Yeah.
reason.
Oh hell yeah, dude. She's got that whole crazy skinny face,
Yeah.
crazy look, crazy-eyed, blonde look
Mhm.
on her face, like she could eat somebody.
Mhm.
And that's the character.
true.
That's what Abeloth does, right? I mean, she, Balin, cool. I mean, I can't see how they complete this brother, daughter, this son, daughter, father trio with everybody being alive, right? So
Blended.
if Ahsoka, we know already has the daughter essence in her, but to really complete that circle, she's got to die, right? So I think they're gonna
She
play.
did.
No, but again, right? For it to become for it to be on the spirit realm, she has to legit die. So it just seems more likely that they're going to race to Abeloth's temple, right? I think Anakin might be the conduit for that, talking to Ahsoka.
Okay,
you
hear
know.
me out. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe the Anakin is, the father, the one in between. Ahsoka's obviously the daughter because she's got Morai and the daughter sacrificed. What if Abeloth, take out the brother? The whole point of the brother is that he's the dark side. Abeloth obviously fits that build. She's the dark sider of this trio. So maybe that's all that there is. Maybe there is no brother in a sense. It's more just
Sure.
Abeloth fits that dark side.
Right. Well, I mean, honestly, it's more likely than not we're not going to see the reason the Mortis gods are there the reason that they even address them on Peridia is to lead to Abeloth's prison, right? That's where he's pointing. He's pointing to Abeloth's prison. Balin knows that. That's why he's standing on his fingertip, because he knows that's pointing to Abeloth.
Well, they're
He's-
pointing to Mother. It's the
Right.
the three members of the family standing facing where she is. Like,
Right.
it's perfect.
And so
It's got to be her, man. And if it's not, fuck Star Wars.
and so we know Balin's been on that hunt for Abeloth. We know Shin is there. So does he lure Shin back in and try to sacrifice her? And then Abeloth takes the body and then she kills Balin. Cool. I don't necessarily think we're going to see Anakin in that, like, that role that we saw him on Mortis. I think we're more going to see him leading Ahsoka to try to stop Abeloth, because now he has all the knowledge. He knows what Abeloth is now. He didn't before, right? Only the father and the family of Mortis gods knew about Abeloth. So now that Anakin has all this knowledge, he has to get them to stop her release, and that's what the show's going to be about. The race to the
That'd be
tomb,
cool.
the release of Abeloth, the enemy that they have to beat, that Luke Skywalker has to beat later, right? Like, this whole thing has to come to a head, and they're going to use the race to the temple, and then we're going to see her being released, and then it's the fight. But then maybe Abeloth is how we find our way back to the galaxy, right? She's so powerful. She has so much knowledge. That's why they imprison her. Maybe that temple has a world between worlds connection, much like the wolves led Ezra and Kanan and the rebels through the Force. Maybe that's how they get back. I don't know, but it seems like Abeloth is the direction for sure.
And they keep cutting back to the galaxy where Hera and Ezra are on
Mhm.
a galactic version of Maury. And they're trying to determine if Ezra is actually Jason Sedula's father.
Hmm.
You're all-
And on that note,
That's why Hera looks so shocked when he's back. She's like, "Oh no,
no. Ezra was
was it
already.
the green hair? It was the green hair.
It was
Wasn't
the
it?
green hair, wasn't
Too
it?
much.
He used
Too
to have
much
blue
of a
hair.
disguise.
See, you did too much for Sheev. He couldn't take it anymore. Yeah, I mean, look, are we going to get any of that in this show? Also, are we going to get more Jason Syndulla with Ezra? Right, that could be a lot of fun. There's still a lot up in the air. All I know is 2025 so far. I mean, think that's still a 2026 show, right? That's what it's slated for, right?
Which Ahsoka?
Ahsoka.
I think so.
it's still being written."
I mean, there's a whole year. I heard they were in early pre-pro. I thought
It might be 25, but I don't know. I don't know.
I heard they
It's
were.
So
Last
we'll
I
fi-
heard,
we'll find-
Filoni was writing it himself.
We'll
He's
find
still
out.
working on it.
Actually, yeah, no, it is 25. There's no way it's coming out this year, but we'll find out at Celebration.
Yeah, right. In a couple months, we'll find out exactly when everything's coming out, because there is nothing left on the slate, right?
Andor in
100 days.
April?
100. I heard it was like
like that.
199 days now till Andor. So Andor is the only
Hmm.
thing on the slate right now, and I can see why they're doing one release a year if it's costing $360 billion. I could see
I
why.
I just want them to get the band back together and make a show called The Ghost Crew, and I'll be happy. You know,
I mean,
it's all I want.
I was hoping we were going to get to see Zeb in Ahsoka. I think that's a missed opportunity not having him with Hera at the end, or even, you know,
Just need a scene with them all together. Like,
honestly, I just need a scene with him and Ezra getting back together. Like, you could have the top bunk back. Like, that's all that's really the only scene I need. Everybody else got their hugs. Like, Chopper got his moment, Hera got her moment, you know, Sabine got her moment, Ahsoka got her moment, Kanan's dead. Zeb's the only one that didn't get a high five, right? Like, that's the only problem I had in the Ahsoka period is if we don't see Zeb in season 2, I'm gonna be mad as a dog in a hubcap factory. I'm just saying. Like, I got to see those two high five, or like hanging out in the Ghost, something. Because I feel
he's gonna be busy in the Mando movie, man.
It's still a long ways away. They still have a lot of building to do.
All
I don't
right.
know
Well,
what-
us East Coasters are dying over
Yeah,
here.
yeah, I can
slowly.
I can see. Look, you guys on top are getting sleepy. All right, well, let's call it. Everybody, don't forget, spay and neuter your pets. Help control the pet population. Don't forget, life is short. That's why it's called the gift. That's why it's a present. So make sure and tell everybody in your life how you feel, what you feel, how you feel. Have a good night. Everybody be safe. We'll see you next time.